Pirates Full Level System, Chapter 161-180. Chapter 161 He is Dead. 2. You were still breastfeeding when the old lady was galloping on the battlefield. Tsunade looked disdainful. The right hand he had just put down was raised high again, clenched his pink fist, and smashed towards Capone Beige angrily. A strong and clear sense of crisis instantly rose to Capone Beige's heart. Castle demolition. Capone Beige quickly retreated and drank loudly. Suddenly, countless miniature swords, forks, swords and halberds emerged from Capone Beige's body. In Tsunade's surprise, all the weapons rose in the wind, expanding dozens of times in an instant, turning into iron soldiers capable of beheading the enemy. Hey, try my tricks. Seeing Tsunade's dignified eyes, Capone Beige couldn't help sneering, and controlled hundreds of cold weapons to whiz towards Tsunade. Be careful, sister. Momosuke looked startled, stepped on the ground with his right foot, and suddenly jumped up. Shave. The figure flashed, and Momosuke came behind Tsunade in an instant, hugged Tsunade with both hands, twisted his body, and quickly avoided the sword, fork, sword and halberd that flashed coldly. HMPH, thought I could survive 12 with a helper. Capone Beige sneered at the two girls, full of killing intent in his heart. Afterwards, Capone Beige controlled the flickering weapon, turned quickly, and followed behind the two women. Momosuke, let me down and let me beat him to death. Tsunade's face was cold, and he wanted to punch this guy who would hide to death. Sister, dodge first, this weapon is talking. Momosuke's mind turned sharply, and she used Marine Rokushiki to run quickly. Moon Step. Yuzu stomped dozens of times in the air within a second, quickly dodging. Kill. Capone Beige seemed to have had enough, his eyes flashed with killing intent. The speed of the iron weapons chasing Momosuke and Tsunade skyrocketed, waving and strangling away in the void. Damn. Momosuke's face turned cold. The cold weapon behind him was shortening the distance frantically, and it was about to hit. Shave. Suddenly, the figures of Momosuke turned around rapidly, heading towards the sky, and countless knives, forks, swords and halberds slashed directly on the boulder of the rules set by Chinluo, and some of the words were blurred. Hide away. The people of Fishman Island broke into a cold sweat for Momosuke and Tsunade at the same time, and when they saw the two dodging past, they immediately shouted excitedly. Fortunately it's all right. Damn Capone Beige, doesn't he know the horror of Cloud God? Look, Capone Beige blurred the text of the rules set by the god of flowing clouds. What? When the people of Fishman Island heard the words, they quickly turned their heads to look, and they saw that the original rules that warned those pirates were destroyed by Capone Beige. Damn it, how dare you slander Lord Luyun? This is the rule set by Master Luyun. Capone Beige not only violated it, he also broke it. He is dead. A woman from Fishman Island glared at Capone Beige with bitter eyes. He will definitely be punished. The will of Lu Yunshin cannot be blasphemed. Kill him. Kill him. At this moment, Capone Beige unintentionally broke the rules of Lu Yunshin, which aroused the anger of the crowd. The people on Fishman Island gritted their teeth and wanted to eat Capone Beige. And the pirates have a look of fear. The look at Capone Beige is also a look of sympathy and pity. Capone Beige didn't care about the anger around him. He glanced at the people of Fishman Island with a sneer, and said arrogantly, a group of trash, mere lowly people, dare to be arrogant in front of me. Castle tank. Bang. The blink of an eye, a white mist rose rapidly, and immediately, Capone Beige's legs turned into musical tracks, like a tank. Fucks, let me crush you guys. Capone Beige, smoking a cigarette, laughed bloodthirsty. After that, the crawler quickly rotated, and the body like Roshan rolled over towards the people of Fishman Island. Protect the people of Fishman Island. Drag the Lord Luyun to return. A king's army roared loudly, and countless Fishman Island soldiers rushed out from the rear. The people of Fishman Island are generally helpless civilians. Except for the Fishman in the back street of Fishman Island, only the king's army of Fishman Island can fight. A large number of the king's army rushed out with swords and halberds, protecting the people of Fishman Island, as if they had already protected the people. Since the god of flowing cloud became the patron saint of Fishman Island, no pirate has ever dared to make trouble on Fishman Island, so the army's gathering speed was much slower. Even King Neptune saw such a prosperous world, want to withdraw the king's army. After all, this kind of comfortable life does not need army soldiers. But I never imagined that there would be people who are not afraid of death who would dare to make trouble on Fishman Island even after a month of comfort. Dragon Palace. Splendid hall. King Neptune was sitting comfortably on the dragon chair, checking the rich fruits of the past 10 days. At this moment, a soldier hurriedly ran in from outside the palace, kneeling on the ground with a pale face, panting. What's the matter? As a soldier of Fishman Island, under the protection of Lord Luyun, he is still so impatient. King Neptune gave him a dissatisfied look and said in a low voice. Report. Report to the king. Fishman Island. 453. Fishman Island has pirates making trouble. What? Trouble? When King Neptune heard the words, the originally pleasant smile was fleeting, replaced by endless anger. Damn it. What's going on? With the protection of Lord Luyun, there are still people making trouble. He doesn't want to live anymore. Who is it? Pirates make trouble. Report. It's Capone Beige, with the Big Mom pirates. What? Big Mom? King Neptune has automatically ignored the weak chicken's Capone Beige. After all, Big Mom is a strong enemy. How is the situation now? Neptune asked in a deep voice, shaking his beard. Momoshiki-san and Tsunade-san have already gone to resist, but it looks like it's a little difficult to deal with them. Damn it. Assemble the king's army. Go to support. Neptune waved his hand, stood up directly, and quickly walked out of the kingdom. Yes. Ah, help. Help me, I don't want to die yet. Wow, Mom. The streets of Fishman Island were already in chaos, and countless people fled frantically, and the fear that was gradually forgotten by them once again swept their minds. Protect your people. Prepare to fight. Chapter 162 Substitute. Dozens of soldiers holding swords and halberds stared at Capone Beige with trembling hands as if facing an enemy. Die, Capone Beige said in a cold voice. The crawler has been violently crushed over, and a dozen soldiers fought to the death to resist. They were directly knocked into the air, fell to the ground and vomited blood. Damn. Tsunade and Momoshiki looked at the chaotic Fishman Island peacefully. Momoshiki first used a quick shave to catch up. And Tsunade looked at Capone Beige's unscrupulous and indiscriminate attack. Meimu couldn't help but turn a little bit of anger. Immediately, Tsunade quickly formed seals with both hands, and whispered in his mouth, substitute. Boom. Originally at Tsunade's position, a burst of white smoke rose up, and then the white smoke disappeared and turned into a stone. The stone lost its gravity and fell to the ground. Miss Tsunade's strange disappearance attracted the attention of many pirates. However, this attention was also dissipated by the form on the battlefield in an instant. Fantastic Fist. The figure appeared, Tsunade punched out, and suddenly, the violent force on the pink fist hit Capone Beige's side crawler instantly. Boom. Punch. Capone Beige's entire body flipped out. Damn it. Capone Beige gritted his teeth and felt a severe pain in his legs. Between changes, he turned into a human shape again. Kill. The soldiers of Fishman Island saw that Capone Beige was back to normal, and immediately came up to fight with swords and fierce eyes. Humph. Seeing this, Capone Beige raised a sneer at the corner of his mouth and said arrogantly, Castle full-size big boss. Boom. An earth-shattering loud noise came out, and immediately, on the Fishman Island, the water flowed violently, the ground trembled violently, a strong shock wave swept out, and dust swept the place instantly. Of countless Fishman Islanders suddenly shrank, and they saw a castle expanding rapidly, crushing directly towards them. What? Run away. Bastard. Capone Beige wants to demolish this place. Humph. Lu Yunshin will definitely not let him go. Brothers, hold on to me. Lord Lu Yun will definitely save us. Bastard. What a monster. Tsunade's beautiful eyes trembled, and after seeing the castle, she felt a little uneasy. Sister Tsunade, this should be the fruit ability of this person. Damn it, if there is seawater here, they will be completely incapacitated. It's useless to say so much. If you can't beat him, just delay for now. Tsunade Meimei said to Momoshiki with chills. Momoshiki and Tsunade looked at each other and agreed. Fantastic fist. Rankyaku, tempest kick. While the two beauties were talking, their bodies flashed. Instead of retreating, they advanced. The whole body, like a cannonball, stepped on the ground and shot towards the castle. Jia ha ha ha, die all, die all. The castle opened its mouth wide, trembling violently, and moved towards the crowd at a rapid speed. If it was crushed, there would be countless fishmons. The people of the island were buried here. Damn it. Tsunade's face was frosty, his eyebrows were twisted into a ball, and he punched the castle. At the same time, a large hole was smashed into the wall, and Tsunade rushed in. And Momoshiki also kicked the wall of a castle and leapt in. Afterwards, it was pitch black. When Tsunade and Momoshiki tried to escape, the damaged wall was restored to its original appearance. Jia ha ha ha, kill the two of you first, and then kill that Lu Yun, and dedicate this Fishman Island to Big Mom. She will be very satisfied with such a gift. Because, Fishman Island is full of desserts. Quote. Capone Beige smirked. At the same time, Tsunade and Momoshiki, who were trapped in the castle, had solemn expressions on their faces. Sister Tsunade, I have heard of this ability. He is a strong city fruit person who can turn his body into a castle, and he can also cast a swamp in the castle. Many things are stationed in his body. Sister, be careful. Momoshiki and Tsunade leaned back against each other, both alert to the changes around them. Suddenly, a cold light struck and quickly slashed towards Tsunade. Tsunade and Momoshiki were acutely aware of the crisis at the same time. The two of them looked towards the upper right side together, and a piercing sound of breaking through the air was very clear and fast. Armament. Hardened. Momoshiki let out a loud shout, and then the entire right arm turned pitch black, raised it high, and blocked the top of the two of them. Clang. Scattered, and a long, sharp knife slashed over Momoshiki's right arm. Bastard. To actually engage in such a sneak attack. Momoshiki's beautiful eyes flashed coldly, ashamed and angry. Jia ha ha ha, little devil, since you two are attracted to Charlotte Nings, you should be well aware of it. Your mother's strength is outrageous. You won't suffer from being your mother's daughter-in-law. Daydreaming. With Momoshiki, and then Tsunade's veins exploded, his right foot lifted, and he stomped on the ground. Heaven's feet. Bang. The fierce leg wind swept across, and then collapsed with one foot. The entire castle trembled violently, the ground roared, and countless stones shattered and fell. Cough cough. Bastard. Capone Beige's annoyed voice spread, and there was a sudden bright light around, and then countless soldiers rode on warhorses, holding several meters long swords and halberds in their hands, and came to fight. Just let you taste my power. Go, my soldier. With an order, hundreds of cavalrymen kicked the war horses violently. Suddenly, the war horses galloped with their hooves up, the ground trembled violently, and countless sharp weapons approached Tsunade and Momoshiki. Momoshiki, you go up first. Tsunade hurriedly shouted with gloomy eyes. No, I want to be with my sister. Momoshiki's pale face flashed a stubborn, uncompromising voice. I have a way to leave, you go up first. Didn't have time to explain. The chakra was condensed on his right arm. Tsunade stretched out his right hand, grabbed Momoshiki's arm and swung it upwards, and Momoshiki flew out. At the same time, countless war horses and soldiers have already fought over, and the cold weapons are flickering with cold light, which is creepy. Kill. The soldier roared, and the long spear and long sword were already approaching Tsunade. Seeing the halberd and long arrows that filled the sky, Tsunade's mouth curled up, and his hands quickly formed a seal. Substitute. Bang! A burst of smoke filled the air, and in an instant, countless knives, forks, swords and halberds stabbed into the white smoke. Is it dead? Humph! Lord Capone Beige is invincible. We are Capone Beige's fighters. It's really weak, it's so vulnerable. Hey, disappointed. Countless arrows pierced through, and there were countless sighs all around, and they all said that they haven't mentioned the nature. Bastard. Missed. Suddenly, a harsh sound came from here, and immediately pulled everyone back to reality. Chapter 163 Fisher Tiger and Hexia Jinbei. Missed. Damn it. It's a rock. We hit a rock. What's the matter? It was obviously a person just now. Everyone couldn't help but take a deep breath, and their minds flew. The figure disappeared when he turned around. This terrifying reaction speed and ability is really incredible. Hey kid, what are you looking at? Suddenly, above the soldiers' heads, Tsunade's voice suddenly sounded, and all the soldiers looked up, only to see Tsunade smiling and clenching his pink fists and slamming them down angrily. Fantastic fist. Boom. The sound was earth-shattering, and Tsunade punched, and a soldier was directly smashed to pieces, and even all the people and war horses within a radius of 5 meters were affected and severely injured. One punch knocked down a lot. Humph. Is it really easy to be bullied by an old lady? Tsunade succeeded in one blow, patted his arm and said disdainfully. Sister, are you okay? Momoshiki cried out in surprise after seeing Tsunade's figure. Of course, there are just some rotten salted fish, and the rotten bird is trying to solve me. There is no door. Momoshiki, now we start to fight back. Strike out. Tsunade Haki commanded, then clenched his right fist, and blasted to the other side again. Fantastic fist. Rankyaku Tempest Kick. The two women skillfully went back and forth on the battlefield, one after another. Strong shock waves exuding light blue light swept away towards the soldiers with a thunderous momentum. Bang! Bang! Wow! Help! Monster! Monster! PFF'd. A tragic voice came out, and Tsunade and Momoshiki cooperated to directly defeat the soldiers in the castle, and they were completely defeated. Bastard! I can't beat it. Capone Beige's voice came out in exasperation. Little devil, if you are sensible, let me out quickly, otherwise, I will kill you all. Tsunade said to himself after killing several soldiers with one punch. HMPH, a group of little ants, this is just an appetizer, do you really think I can't catch you? Capone Beige heard the words, and suddenly laughed sinisterly. Castle, swamp. With a low drink from Capone Beige, Tsunade and Momoshiki suddenly felt a strange feeling. Immediately, they lowered their eyes and saw that the originally hard ground was squirming rapidly, and then completely turned into a swamp. The seriously injured soldier was completely swallowed by the swamp and fell into the quagmire. Sister. Momoshiki's beautiful eyes flashed a trace of panic, and she couldn't help crying. It's okay, I'm here. Tsunade turned to Isho, comforting Momoshiki. At the same time, her hands were sealed, and then her surroundings turned into a white mist again. Substitute. When the smoke disappeared, Tsunade was originally occupied by a boulder, and then, the boulder was quickly swallowed by the swamp, and Momoshiki wanted to use shaving to escape, but his feet were deep in the mud and could not be pulled out. Substitute. Relax, she made a seal in the air again, and with a bang, Momoshiki and Tsunade changed their figures, while Tsunade fell into the quagmire, and Momoshiki appeared in the original position. What came out? Momoshiki widened her beautiful eyes in disbelief, as if she had seen a ghost. Shaved. Moon step. Momoshiki escaped and hurriedly cast marine rokushiki to stabilize her figure. At this moment, Tsunade formed a seal with both hands again, and the whole person disappeared in the swamp, standing on a stone. What? You can hide from my swamp. Capone Beige was surprised when he noticed that the two had escaped. Little devil, what's your ability? Capone Beige's unbelievable voice spread throughout the castle. No comment. Old ghost. Now my mother, I will smash your shitty place. Tsunade was confident in Isho, then he clenched his right fist and slammed it directly into the city wall. Boom! The entire hall and attic were shaking, and countless flying shards were scattered wildly, and the rocks were pierced through the air, creating a mess. After a punch, a big hole was deep in the wall, but the wall was not smashed through. It's hard enough. Tsunade's mouth twitched slightly, and he immediately kicked his right leg up. Heaven's feet. Rankyaku Tempest Kick. An instant, Momoshiki and Tsunade kicked dozens of times frantically, and finally the sturdy castle collapsed and was kicked out of a huge gap. Seeing the bright light from the outside world, Momoshiki and Tsunade rushed out. When they escaped, the two of them breathed a sigh of relief. Bastards! All of you are buried here. Capone Bej's angry voice passed, and then he opened his mouth, and countless soldiers rode out on horses. In an instant, the wind was soaring. The soldiers were covered in cold armor, and the long spear in their hands was threateningly cold, and when they appeared, they immediately panicked. Kill them all. Capone Bej came from the castle, and then all the soldiers raised their weapons and rushed to the people of Fishman Island. Kill. Countless voices came from the soldiers' mouths, and then several figures flew quickly. Fishman Karate. A voice resounded, and then, a soldier flew out backwards, and even the war horse was smashed by the shock. Visitor is Fishman, a whale shark, with blue skin, wind-like eyebrows and temples, a Ding Zufeng hairstyle, a thick black short beard on his chin, a lightning-like scar on the corner of his left eye, a fat body, and 2 jaws. Big teeth. Jinbei, the sea hero in the future, but Jinbei at this time is a little immature. Jinbei. Ooh, it's Fisher Tiger. And a dragon. At this time, the friends of Fishman Street also rushed over. Since the blessing of Luyun God, their Fishman Island can be said to have good weather, their income has skyrocketed, and they will no longer be oppressed by the world government. The Fishmons headed by Ultiger worship the god of flowing cloud. Humph. To make a riot when Mr. Luyun is not around, even if you are from Big Mom. I, Fisher Tiger, will show no mercy. Big brother, stop talking nonsense. Kill him. Jinbei opened his mouth wide, and his 2 big white teeth were extremely conspicuous. Go. Hey, dare to invade Fishman Island. You guys are really a headache. Fishman Long grinned coldly, and his figure moved forward quickly, instantly biting a soldier's neck, and then, directly bite off. Fisher Tiger also showed fierce eyes, thick curly hair, a wide mouth tightly closed, his red palm directly grabbed a soldier's halberd, and then raised his right hand upwards. The whole weapon and the soldier are the same. Lifted by Fisher Tiger, then thrown to the other side. Kill. After the arrival of Fishman, King Neptune's royal army roared, and the sound was loud. Humph. Many people think I'm afraid. Capone Bej smiled and opened the gate like a mouth. Countless artillery turrets were revealed. Castle demolition. Chapter 164. You want to touch the woman of my Luyun too, can't you find death? Oops. Resist it. Fisher Tiger's expression tightened and he shouted in surprise. For a time, the people on Fishman Island saw the pitch-black muzzle with a diameter of half a meter, rushing towards the buildings on Fishman Island and their civilians. Escape. Cannon. Cannon. The people on Fishman Island struggled from panic, fleeing frantically one by one, and then, all the cannons turned their direction. Boom. 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 Suddenly, the sound of gunfire resounded on Fishman Island, and violent gunpowder smoke swept out from the densely packed gun barrels in the castle. Immediately, the entire castle was covered with a layer of white gunpowder smoke and dust, and the strong smell of gunpowder came from the surface. What was even more frightening was that countless football-sized iron balls spewed out of the artillery, streaking across the brilliant arcs, and blasting toward Fishman Island like a meteor shower. Boom! In an instant, the entire earth was trembling wildly, and the surroundings were turbulent. The originally flat ground was now in a mess, with ravines, and smoke filled with gunpowder. The sky turned red. Even the 12 air became hot. The momentum is huge, like a natural disaster. Damn it. Protect the people of Fishman. Fisher Tiger showed a stern look, blue veins burst out on his bright red skin, and he jumped up and kicked a cannonball that hit the civilians. Fishman A. Long had a murderous intent. With strong fangs, his figure moved, and he quickly walked towards the castle. Then, he bit into a fort, banged, and smashed it with his teeth. Jinbei's figure was swaying, his hands were winding and rugged in the air, as if there was some kind of rhythm, and in an instant, the blue-skinned hands were lifted forward, and a domineering wave rushed out from his hands. Fishman Karate, 5,000 watts. Boom. Jinbei's figure flickered, and his hands slammed into the void. Suddenly, heart-stopping waves rushed out. Then, countless phantoms and violent energy burst out from Jinbei's hands, converging into a frenzy. The dragon strangled towards the whistling cannonballs, and in an instant, countless cannonballs were blocked by Jinbei's 5,000-watt fist. Some shells were even shattered and turned into fly ash under the direct attack of Jinbei. Momosegi's delicate face was covered with cold sweat, and her figure jumped to a high level, her right foot covered with armament hockey, and she stepped out. Rankyaku Tempest Kick. The crescent-shaped edge with light blue light swept out, and the surging power was transmitted mightily in the air, and the rapidly approaching shells were kicked away by Momosegi. Tsunade also used the avatar technique, and his figure fluctuated strangely. In the blink of an eye, he appeared beside a cannonball, smashed his right fist, and the entire cannonball was smashed. At this moment, the Fishman Island was under fire, and some pirates joined the army to resist Capone Beige to protect the safety of the people of Fishman Island. Gia ha ha ha, the clouds of waste. Fishman Island will be captured by me. Dedicate it to my mother. She will be very happy. Capone Beige's arrogant voice sounded, reaching everyone's ears, extremely harsh. At the same time, Charlotte Nings also woke up in a daze from the explosion. After getting up, she saw the surrounding ruins. Part of the entire Fishman Island was turned to dust. Countless houses collapsed. Wow wow wow. Mom, wake up. Save me, save me. Luyun God, Luyun, save us, God. A fishman vomited blood, lying miserably on the ground, his mouth was blown in half, the whole person was dying, and he was waiting for Lu Yunshen to appear, and then his eyes became more dim and scattered. In addition to this place, on the ground with ravines, corpses are all over the place, arms, legs, and even heads are all torn apart, and the number of casualties has increased exponentially, even if there are Fisher Tiger, Jinbei, Momosegi, Tsunade wait for the Guardian, but this large-scale attack can't make the people safe at all. Gia ha ha ha, let's all die. Yo ho ho, Capone Beige, did you cause such damage in just a short time? That's right, I'll definitely promote you in front of my mother when I get back. Charlotte Nings rubbed Vivi's aching head and laughed wildly. Lord Nings. When Capone Beige saw Charlotte Nings wake up, she couldn't help but curse in her heart. These people from Fishman Island are really trash. Charlotte Nings fainted there, so she didn't hurry to kill. If Capone Beige does it, it will definitely provoke the ant, and if the people from Fishman Island are killed, Capone Beige is capturing the Fishman Island, and finally said in front of the ant that it was to avenge Charlotte Nings before capturing Fishman Island. This is definitely a good opportunity to improve. Damn it, Capone Beige scolded a little angrily in his heart, and at the same time, he made a false voice. Lord Nings, you were knocked out by this stinky girl just now, and I am avenging you. Right now I'm massacring the people of Fishman Island. If the Luyun bastard doesn't come out, it's only a matter of time before we capture this place. Of course, even if Luyun appears, I'm sure I'll make him crippled. These shrimp soldiers and crabs will want to be the gods who bless Fishman Island, and they don't care about their mothers. This Fishman Island, I will definitely kill my mother. Okay, Capone Beige, work hard. I'll say a few words for you, uncle, in front of your mother. You'll be prosperous in the future. Okay. Capone Beige nodded earnestly, and immediately covered the past with 260 artillery fire. Momoshiki and others were dripping with sweat, while Fisher Tiger, Jinbei and other fishman were also sighing. Man Island is already in chaos. Some pirates even want to take advantage of this chaotic opportunity to fish in troubled waters. Right, Capone Beige, catch those two little girls. I must have a good time, sir. Yo ho ho. Charlotte Nings stood in front of the castle, like an ant. When Capone Beige saw the two people pointed by Lord Charlotte Nings, he suddenly laughed evilly. Don't worry, sir, these two little ones were planned to be given to you. You don't need to remind me. The little ones will do it properly. After that, countless swords, forks, swords and halberds poured out from the castle gate, like countless tentacles, grabbing towards Momoshiki and Tsunade who were resisting. Seeing Capone Beige's shot, Charlotte Nings laughed savagely. A perverted look appeared on her hideous face. Her scarlet tongue kept extending outwards. Her eyes were evil. Ha ha ha. Catch the two of them, my lord, I must smash. Smash, smash. Let them taste the might of this uncle. Oh, you want to touch my Luyin's woman, but you can't find death. Dash 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 dash. Recommend my new book Open Black Lens Bracket Pirate God Level Alchemist. Close black lens bracket absolutely cool. Absolutely beautiful. I beg everything. Chapter 165 The Power of a Palm. Who? Charlotte Nings's face froze, her eyes shot endless fierce light, and she looked around. At the same time, Capone Beige also became vigilant, manipulating the sword and halberd to grab Momoshiki and Tsunade frantically. Countless sharp swords shimmering coldly approached Tsunade and Momoshiki. At the same time, a figure suddenly flashed in front of Tsunade and Momoshiki, covered in red clouds and black robes, with a mask on his face. Although he couldn't see his face, he could feel the aloof and arrogant aura of a king on this person. Almighty push. Qin Luo's right hand bluffed, and the surging repulsive force suddenly burst out from his right hand. Those knives, forks, swords and halberds that whistled were deformed by this repulsive force, twisted into a ball and rolled out. God, it's a god. Don't know who it was, shouting with excitement, and then, the countless fleeing Fishman Islanders stopped, and a look of hope flashed across their originally frightened faces. God is really here. Another Fishman Islander holding a child had dull eyes and tears. God of flowing clouds. Fisher Tiger and the future sea hero Jinbei and others were all relieved, looking at the man who blesses Fishman Island. God, flowing cloud god. Suddenly, the people of Fishman Island stood up in awe, one by one, with respect and admiration in their eyes. Luyun God, save us. Our Fishman Island is about to be captured by the 540 pirates. Wow, my son died in the explosion. It's all this damn pirate. God avenged us. Luyun. As soon as Qin Luo appeared, the sound of calls came from the surface. Qin Luo clearly captured their voices, and when he saw the dilapidated bricks and ground on Fishman Island, he knew that there was a war here. What's the matter? Qin Luo turned to look at Tsunade and Momoshiki and asked seriously. Luyun, someone provokes Fishman Island and breaks the rules you set. Tsunade stood behind him and replied slightly in a low voice. She didn't stop all this right away, and she felt ashamed. Missing trouble. Qin Luo raised his eyebrows, as if he had heard a joke. Since he used the title of Luyun to bless the Fishman Island, he dug a deep-sea tunnel and opened up the connection with Sabayati Archipelago. During this period of time, the weather has been good. The coating industry on Sabayati Archipelago also moved to Fishman Island. In addition, it has attracted a large number of pirates, and today's Fishman Island can be said to be bursting with popularity. No one dared to make trouble for a month. How long did he go out? The whole Fishman Island was like this. Dare to make trouble on Fishman Island, except for those who have never heard of Luyun's name, there are only arrogant pirates left. Is that him? Qin Luo raised his eyelids and glanced indifferently at the castle in front of him, and Charlotte Nings beside the castle. Little devil, you are Luyun. I can see you as a tortoise. Capone Beige, dismantle this broken fish man island for me. Charlotte Nings stared at Chin Luo and roared, and ordered Capone Beige with a smirk. Yes. Capone Beige nodded, and the artillery fire burst into the sky. Countless pitch-black and round cannonballs came at high speed, blasting towards Fishman Island overwhelmingly. It's really courting death. Chin Luo stared at the front with great interest. Vivi Isho, the murderous intention in his heart has burst. Suddenly, Chin Luo's smile froze, replaced by endless coldness, and a powerful and unparalleled coercion suddenly appeared on his body. Then, Chin Luo raised his right hand and swelled rapidly, suddenly expanding to hundreds of times. The right hand covered the sky and the sun, directly blocking the sky over Fishman Island, and the shells all hit Chin Luo's palm. Boom! 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 The shells fell rapidly, and exploded directly in Chin Luo's palm. Violent neck chi flew up, and the monstrous flames burned on Chin Luo's right hand. The damage caused did not cause any substantial damage to Chin Luo. Die! Chin Luo overlooked all this indifferently, too lazy to talk nonsense. The giant palm that covered the sky jumped up in an instant, flipped over, setting off a lot of air waves, and fell straight down under Charlotte Nings's shocked and terrified eyes. Damn! Block! Block me tilde. Charlotte Nings's face was extremely shocked, and she commanded Capone Beige in a panic. Capone Beige's face was heavy at this time, and he didn't say a word, but fought hard. A large number of knives, forks, swords and halberds flew out of the door again, and resisted towards the huge thick palm. Ding ding ding. Clang clang clang. A crisp sound came out, leaving no trace at all. Instead, Chin Luo's right hand was falling rapidly. The palm is vast and heavy, like a mountain peak rolling over, with a violent energy invisibly, instantly, pressing on the castle. The castle that Capone Beige has turned into is suddenly vulnerable, just like smashing tofu dregs, directly crushing it. Ah! Capone Beige let out a miserable cry, and then the palm of his hand rolled down, the castle collapsed, and in the roar, a large amount of flying ashes rose into the sky, and invisible waves spread all over the place. When the pirates who were not native residents saw Lu Yun's sharp and decisive crushing gesture, they suddenly widened their eyes one by one. Unbelievable. Gollum. One of the pirates, seeing Lu Yun's domineering and tough methods, immediately rolled his throat and broke out in cold sweat. Is this the power of the god of flowing cloud? What a terrifying ability. This is simply too strong. Scary. Countless pirates are trembling hearts and livers, unable to control themselves. At this time, Chin Luo raised his huge palm and returned to its original state again. Then, everything under the palm of his hand just now turned into fly ash, especially the castle, which has disappeared, replaced by Capone Beige's blood-dripping body. PFF'd. Capone Beige lay on the ground, the violent vibration shattered his lungs, a mouthful of blood spurted out, and there was a look of horror in his eyes. Chin Luo's figure flashed and appeared directly beside Capone Beige, staring at Capone Beige coldly. Why are you making trouble on Fishman Island? Capone Beige looked at this arrogant and indifferent figure. The fear in his heart had reached its peak, and tremblingly said, everything is directed by Charlotte Nings. Cough, cough, he instructed. Looking at the position pointed by Capone Beige, Chin Luo swept his eyes and suddenly saw a boy also covered in blood lying on the ground. Both were seriously injured. The only difference was that Capone Beige was about to die, and Charlotte Nings was only seriously injured. Charlotte. Chin Luo raised his eyebrows and chuckled. It turned out to be the Charlotte family. I said which pirate would dare to make trouble on the island that I protect. Lu Yun, let us go, even if this matter is even. Otherwise, Charlotte Linlin will never let you go. Capone Beige's eyes panicked, threatening Lu Yun. Capone Beige, your thinking is too childish. Is Charlotte Linlin strong? In my eyes, no matter who provokes me, there is a price to pay, even if it is as strong as Whitebeard, Roger and others. Dash 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 dash. Recommend my new book, Pirate God Grade Alchemist, absolutely cool. Do not abuse the master. Kneeling and begging for a reward for collecting flowers. Please rest assured collection. In addition, recommending my friend's new book, Spokesperson of the Ghost Emperor of the Tomb Raider, is also wonderful. I beg everything. Chapter 166 _ keep playing. Qin Luo said word by word, and Capone Beige felt the substantive killing intent on Lu Yun, and the whole person was silent and panicked. Do-ent kill me, do-ent kill me. Capone Beige spit out blood, begging for breath. Late. Qin Luo's eyes narrowed, his fingers like knives, directly pierced Capone Beige's forehead, inserted his 2 fingers deeply, and killed Capone Beige. Capone Beige took a last breath, and died in shock and fear. Bang! The corpse fell to the ground in a daze, and the body gradually stiffened. For a time, all the people on Fishman Island held their breaths, and the pirates were also extremely shocked. Killed. Just die like that. When did Capone Beige become so weak? He almost overturned Fishman Island. He was so vulnerable. It's not that Capone Beige is weak, but Lu Yunshan is too powerful. The eyes of the people of Fishman Island were full of admiration, and they looked at the tall and mighty figure in front of them with incomparable admiration. And those pirates were also gasping for breath. Although they had heard Lu Yun's name, they still couldn't believe it after seeing Lu Yun's palm severely injured Capone Beige. Yun's eyes swept over, and they lowered their heads one by one, their eyes full of fear, and they did not dare to be presumptuous at all. If they offend Lu Yun unintentionally, they don't even know how to die. Qin Luo turned his head, swept them one by one, and finally stopped on Momoshiki and Tsunade. Momoshiki, Tsunade, tell me how all this happened. Qin Luo frowned and said. Momoshiki and Tsunade pursed their thin lips and hurried to Qin Luo. Master. Tsunade stood here, shouting respectfully. Tell me what's going on here. Master, the business of Fishman Island was very good today, and at this time, the pirate ship known as Big Mom sailed into Fishman Island. This Charlotte Nings wanted to beat the Tianlong people, and after paying the reward, because Bailey was missing during the fight, your subordinates stopped him and warned Charlotte Nings not to beat him again. After that, Charlotte Nings beat the squid soldiers in a rage and forcibly beat them. Draco even let his subordinate Capone Beige destroy this place. Quote. Tsunade said word by word, and then Qin Luo's eyes turned cold. Charlotte Nings, who was lying unconscious on the ground, slowly opened his eyes. He was seriously injured at the moment, and a slight movement would pull on his wound, causing bursts of heart-piercing pain. What's going on? Charlotte Nings held Capone Beige's icy corpse in her right hand and watched it all with a gray face. Little devil, are you from the Charlotte family? Qin Luo's eyes were indifferent, and he swept to Charlotte Nings. Lu Yun. At this moment, Charlotte Nings was completely awake, and the characters in front of him were not something he could provoke at all. Lu Yun, let me go, I will let my mother pay you what you deserve. Charlotte Nings knelt in front of Qin Luo with lingering fears, begging for mercy like a pug. Pay me, what? Qin Luo looked down at the figure in front of him with interest and muttered. I beat the Tianlong people, and I still have some money that I haven't paid. I'll pay you, and the house that Capone Beige destroyed, I'll pay for it. Even those Fishman's medical expenses. I'll pay for it alone. Oh, you are really a living bodhisattva. Then, do you know what it means to pay your debts and pay your life? Qin Luo raised his eyebrows and whispered, and an invisible murderous intent suddenly came from his burst out. Murder for life. Feeling this strong killing intent, Charlotte Nings's forehead was covered with cold sweat, and her body kept shaking. Yes, kill for life. How many people of my Fishman Island have died? Can you offset this life? You can't do this. I'm Charlotte Nings. I'm Charlotte Linlin's 138th son. You can't do this to me. No, you kill me. Mom won't let you go. Charlotte Nings had already heard the killing intent in Lu Yun's language, and began to speak incoherently, and even threatened with Charlotte Linlin, the future 4 emperors. "Are you threatening me?" Qin Luo said indifferently to Isho. "Charlotte Linlin, I will find her in person in the future and ask for an explanation. But now, pay it back first." Qin Luo slapped it, and Charlotte Ning's entire body was slammed into the soil, blood spurted from his mouth, and his breathing was weak. Then, Qin Luo turned around and looked around, just in time to see the squid soldier he dispatched to collect the money lying on the ground, his face blushing, obviously having been beaten a lot. "You, come here." Qin Luo waved his hand, and directly used gravity to pull the squid soldiers over. "Lu Yun God." The squid soldier stood tremblingly in front of Qin Luo, bowing his head, not daring to say a word. "He beat you." Qin Luo pointed to Charlotte Ning's on the ground. "Yes, my lord." The squid soldier trembled and panicked. "However he beat you, you can beat me back." Qin Luo's voice was indifferent and majestic. 0. "This, my lord, is this really okay?" The squid soldier was obviously flattered. How could he be able to beat such a 20 million Bailey character? And this guy is still a member of the Charlotte family. After the fight, he really won't be blamed. "If you want to hit you, hit me. The sky will fall and I will bear it. My people, even if Charlotte Linlin provokes me, I will seek justice for you." Qin Luo said with a stern look with his eyes like a knife. "Yes." The squid soldier was shocked and felt a strong sense of security, and punched Charlotte Ning's directly in the face. "Fuck you. Damn it. Let you hit me. I have the protection of adults today. How did you hit me? I'll hit me back. Hereby greet you." The fists roared like a gust of wind and rain, all of which hit Charlotte Ning's accurately. Suddenly, Charlotte Ning's twitched and her face was extremely distorted. "Bastard. I'm Charlotte Linlin's son. Despicable fish man. Don't let me escape. Let him escape. Your Fishman Island will surely perish. Mom won't let you go. Damn chops." Charlotte Ning's scarlet eyes burst out with intense hatred, gnashing her teeth, blood gushing out of her mouth. "Keep fighting." Qin Luo looked at Charlotte Ning's indifferently. This kid is just a mad dog now, and he can't make any waves at all. As for Charlotte Linlin, before this woman comes over, Qin Luo will go to her trouble. Chapter 167 Stunned. In response to the order of Lu Yunshan, the squid soldiers chose to obey without reason, raised their tentacles high, and smashed them fiercely at Charlotte Ning's. After a while, Charlotte Ning's body had collapsed with a dent on her face. It was also bloody, and he vomited several mouthfuls of blood. "Damn, Lu Yun, mother will never let you go." Charlotte Ning's roared feebly, her eyes were resentful, and then her whole eyes began to slacken, and her body became weaker and weaker. "Lu Yun God, he's about to be killed by me." The squid soldier seemed to be exhausted. After punching a few dozen times, he wiped his sweat and retreated to Qin Luo with a respectful look on his face. "Well, back off." Qin Luo lightly waved his hand and motioned the squid soldiers to go down, but for Qin Luo's order, the squid soldiers did not dare to disobey, lowered their heads, and quickly retreated. At this time, Qin Luo raised his head and glanced at the entire Fishman Island, whether it was the people on Fishman Island, the foreign residents, or the overbearing pirates. All were swept by Qin Luo's eyes. Countless pairs of eyes gathered together. They looked at Lu Yunshan, not knowing what Lu Yun was planning. "This is the place where I am sheltered by the clouds. Anyone who violates the rules here will be severely punished, and Capone Bej destroys Fishman Island and slaughtered my people on Fishman Island, making my people on Fishman Island panic. My son has now been obliterated by me. There is no Capone Bej in this world. And Charlotte Ning's, the promoter behind the whole thing, also needs blood to pay." Quote. At this moment, Qin Luo lowered his head, his cold eyes swept to Charlotte Ning's, who was about to die. Then, he quickly extended his right hand, grabbed Charlotte Ning's in his hand, and suddenly raised it high. Due to the rude power, Charlotte Ning's directly caused a few more gulps of blood, and the whole person was already unconscious. However, now Qin Luo doesn't care whether Charlotte Ning's has any thoughts or not. In this way, Under countless pairs of fiery and horrified gazes, Charlotte Ning's body was picked up high and presented in front of everyone. Lu Yun, what is God going to do? A pirate gasped, feeling that Charlotte Ning's was about to end. This kid is dead. The god of flowing cloud has already made plans to kill. That's not necessarily the case. Charlotte Ning's is behind Big Mom. It's unclear whether Lu Yun and Big Mom are stronger or weaker. Indeed, Big Mom holds Thundercloud Zeus in his left hand and Sun Prometheus in his right hand, so he can control the weather at will. Attracting storms and lightning is also a small problem, and even injecting soul into dark clouds can give orders. Layan, his ability is sky-defying. I just don't know, Lu Yunshin and Big Mom, who is stronger? Another pirate sighed for a while, as if he was a little unsure. Just as everyone was making wild guesses, Qin Luo's right hand slowly exerted force, and his left hand stretched out a finger and swiped towards Charlotte Ning's. Water blade. The words fell, and a shock wave that was as sharp as a thin line suddenly swept toward Charlotte Ning's. And Charlotte Ning's head fell to the ground with a thud under countless pairs of shocked gazes. Charlotte Ning's, die. The head fell to the ground, and the entire Fishman Island was suddenly silent, and countless pairs of pupils were staring at the tall figure in the center of Fishman Island. For a time, the place was eerily silent. Wow 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 tilde. The short-lived silence was instantly broken by countless people, and there was cheers on Fishman Island, especially the people whose family members died, and they burst into tears. God killed Charlotte Ning's son, your revenge has been avenged. Ouch. God, thank you for taking revenge for Fishman Island. Lu Yun, is this Lu Yun? Act decisively, old man, even Big Mom doesn't care. Gollum. A pirate's throat rolled, and he was speechless in shock. Not that they were shocked by killing a Charlotte Ning's pirate. What they were shocked was that Lu Yunshin's decisiveness and hockey completely ignored the Charlotte family. Pirates as strong as 400 million to 500 million dare not so lightly kill the members of the Charlotte family. What they are afraid of is the character Charlotte Linlin, who can be called a disaster, and the death of Charlotte Ning's this time is also very rare. One more event. Dare to provoke the Big Mom pirates. It's just like looking for death. But Lu Yunshin did it so easily, as if he didn't take this matter to heart. It was easy. It really is a god. Lu Yun, I really admire it. If I could be protected by Lu Yunshin, wouldn't I be running rampant in the world? No, I'm going to join Fishman Island. This is a paradise. After this time, who would dare to make trouble on Fishman Island? For a time, the pirates were in turmoil, all worshipping Lu Yun. At this moment, Lu Yun's eyes are indifferent, looking at the expressions of those pirates. The corners of his mouth are slightly raised. The purpose of his shot this time is to deter. He once also established 3 rules, but these 3 rules were also without any substantial deterrence. Although he destroyed the world government and killed the Gorosei, 5 elders, he still came to Fishman Island a little bit. Make trouble, and after this time, let these pirates directly see him. Lu Yun killed 2 big pirates, one of which is the son of Big Mom. If this matter spreads out, it will be a good deterrent. The role, the bloody reality that was wiped out on Fishman Island is here. If the pirates want to think again, they need to bear Lu Yun's anger. Qin Luo looked at the 2 corpses on the ground, and directly exchanged 10 points for a mysterious substance that would keep the 2 of them forever. Then, Qin Luo sprinkled this substance on Capone Beige and Charlotte Ning's. After doing all this, Qin Luo made a move with his right hand, and the boulder engraved with the 3 rules roared. It shook and appeared directly in front of Qin Luo. Then, with a wave of Qin Luo's sleeve, the notch on it disappeared immediately. Qin Luo 0.4 hung the bodies of the 2 on the boulder again. With one arm, the entire boulder stood in the most conspicuous place again. The only difference is that now there are 2 more icy corpses. One is Charlotte Ning's, and the other is Capone Beige. Now the corpse of Big Mom's son has been made into a human specimen by Qin Luo. Tied to a boulder. This is a deterrent. Warn those pirates. Just enter Fishman Island. Follow the rules. Whoever violates it The two dead bodies on the boulder are a living warning. Chinluo didn't care about the shocked eyes of the pirates. At this time, his eyes turned lavender, and circles of lines were revealed, which was a pair of rinagons. The art of reincarnation. Suddenly, Chinluo stood in the void, with green rays of light emerging from his body. These rays of light rushed out quickly, and then spread to the entire Fishman Island. Chapter 168 The Art of Reincarnation. His eyes were unpredictable, and a strange energy fluctuation quickly swept out. A faint fluorescent green emerged from Chinluo's body, and then ascended into the void. At the top of Fishman Island, bursts of extremely rich fluorescent green light quickly exploded, and then turned into countless tiny traces similar to microscopic rays. The fluorescent green of the dust sprinkled down like rain, moisturizing the entire Fishman Island. Under the eyes of countless sluggish eyes, the pale green light penetrated into the skin of the wounded pirates on Fishman Island. Those wounds on Fishman's body also healed quickly under this strange situation, as if going back in time, returning to their original state. What's even more terrifying is that these pale green fluorescent dust stained the dead. On the people of the Fishman Island, the dead bodies were resurrected again. Even the torn bodies that were blown up by the artillery fire moved slowly, spliced together, and finally 14 slowly put together a complete body. Then, under the horrified eyes of everyone, the damage was slowly repaired. What kind of ability is this? One of the captains of the Lion Pirates was incomparably shocked. The boss with eyes the size of a copper bell stared, very shocked by Lu Yunshin's means. My wound is healed. A Fishman Islander stared at his right arm, and the shocking wound disappeared, revealing his intact skin. This strange scene scared the people of Fishman Island beyond words. Child, my child, are you alive? Are you alive? A mother on Fishman Island, who was holding her 5-year-old child, was crying loudly, but she could feel the squirming in her arms after a while. However, this mother saw with her own eyes that her child who had died of anger was actually jumping around in her arms again. Such scenes were staged all over Fishman Island. Countless Fishman Islanders were extremely shocked and looked at the strange scene in front of them in disbelief. Mom! A child was resurrected and jumped into the arms of a mother. The two mothers and daughters cried with rain. Child, it's okay. You are alive again. This must be the divine power of Lord Luyun. Gollum. There are countless pirates who looked at each other in dismay. They would not believe the idea of resurrection from the dead. Except for the ability of Big Mom's soul and soul fruit, the only thing left is to manipulate other people's shadows. One of Shichibukai's, Gecko Moria. And the abilities of the two people are all with the help of the devil fruit to bring people back to life, isn't it? Lu Yunshin is also one of the mysterious devil fruit abilities. If this is the case, no one else knows what kind of devil fruit Lu Yunshin is eating. They don't even have a clue. Big Mom's soul fruit has the same limitations as Gecko Moria's ability, and it is impossible to make people who exploded into powder reunite again. Although the two of them can be resurrected, but that is also under the condition of having a body. Just now, Capone Bej bombarded Fishman Island directly. Countless fishmons died under the shells, and dozens of them were blown into powder by the shells. Under such a large-scale casualty, the flow of the God of Cloud actually used a secret technique to resurrect those characters who had turned into flying ashes to the point of being completely intact. This is enough to explain the horror of the God of Flowing Clouds. What a terrifying secret technique. How the hell is this done? Lu Yunshin is really powerful. It's even stronger than Big Mom. This Charlotte family is going to suffer. It has offended the God of Flowing Clouds. Big Mom has provoked a super powerful being. Who can blame this? Who made Big Mom's sons so many? Lu Yunshin will definitely not give up this time. One by one, the pirates all looked shocked, staring at the slender Luyun god who exuded indifference and arrogance in front of him. This is the art of reincarnation. Rinnegan in Naruto. At the beginning, Pen's 6 paths destroyed Konoha under the control of Nagato. Then, under Naruto's persuasion, Nagato saw hope for the future. So he used the only one-time reincarnation technique to resurrect those Konoha dead people, as compensation for destroying Konoha. However, this kind of secret technique can only revive people, but it has no effect on the destroyed buildings. Master, you have a Rinnegan. Tsunade walked over to Chinluo and asked in a low voice. Well, if there is no Rinnegan, how can I use this reincarnation technique? Chinluo's voice came out slowly. Master, this Rinnegan needs to evolve from a writing wheel. You are not from the Uchiha family. Why do you have this kind of eye? Could it be that this kind of eye is transplanted? No, Chinluo said indifferently, and then kept silent. Only Tsunade was tangled in the same place, and when it was impossible to communicate, Tsunade didn't bother to think about it. This method, it's really strong. Fisher Tiger was stunned, watching the wound on his arm heal, extremely surprised. Jinbei was also surprised. This kind of energy 590 can not only repair wounds, but also replenish vitality. Now, under the pale green fluorescent particles, his malaise and fatigue were instantly swept away, and his whole person was 100 times more refreshed. Lord Luyun is really amazing. Since he came to our Fishman Island, he has not only abolished the discrimination system that discriminated against the world's ZF, but also made the people of our Fishman Island on an equal footing with people in this world. Lord Luyun is more than 100 times stronger than that guy from King Neptune. This king should be God Luyun. Aaron said the truth with his face full of admiration. Aaron, don't be unreasonable. The king has his own abilities, and the king has also put in a lot of effort to take charge of Fishman Island. Fisher Tiger frowned and reprimanded Aaron. Brother, Neptune in the past was just a piece of crap. If there is no Luyun god to come to Fishman Island, this King Neptune will definitely become a prisoner. Where is his throne? Luyun god is here. The life of our Fishman Island is getting better. Everything Luyun Chen has done is much better than the king. Shut up. Fisher Tiger sternly criticized and glared at Aaron, although Fisher Tiger agreed with Aaron's words, but as a courtier, he spoke ill of the king. Cannot be done. Chapter 169 Furious Big Mom. Brother, what Aaron said is right. These are all thanks to Lu Yunchen, otherwise, what kind of disaster would our Fishman Island face? Jinbei, the future sea hero, also agreed with Aaron's words. For the first time, the two stand on the same line. Yo, Jinbei, when did you agree with me? The sun is about to hit the west side. Aaron folded his arms and looked at Jinbei with interest. HMPH, this old man is just telling the truth. If Lu Yunchen needs a partner, I will definitely be the first to join. Forget it. The floating cloud god pirates, how could I be able to enter? Okay. Fisher Tiger interrupted the quarrel between the two, and then said, no matter what, as long as it is the will of Luyun God, I will resolutely obey in the future. If Luyun God doesn't let me join the Luyun Pirates Regiment, I will form a pirate regiment myself and become an affiliated regiment of the Floating Cloud Pirates. This way, aren't we going to be under the command of the Floating Cloud God? Big Brother's suggestion is good. Then let me choose the name of this pirate group. It's called God's Affiliated Pirates. How about it? Jinbei's eyes were burning, and he was the first to give his opinion. Chi, Shuan is exploding. Aaron counted his middle fingers disdainfully, and then, under Jinbei's gloomy expression, said, it should be called the Liutian Pirates. Or the Cloud God Pirates. It sounds ugly. In my opinion, it's called the Sun Pirates. The Sun Pirates. Jinbei and Aaron frowned. What is this Sun Pirates? The Sun Pirates. As the name suggests, the pirates shrouded in the sun. And this sun is our Lord Luyun. As long as there is a god, there is the sun. He will show us the way. Light up all the darkness. Under the protection of the sun, we have nothing to fear. Fisher Tiger was full of pride, and in the same way, he also incarnated as a brainless fan of the god of flowing cloud. The Sun Pirates. It's okay. Well, I agree with Big Brother's name. Just when everyone was shocked by Lu Yunchen's heaven-defying means, suddenly, a familiar voice came. Bumble bumble bumble. Bumble bumble bumble. The voice of the phone bug was transmitted on Fishman Island, and the voice was clear and unusual, and it was difficult to conceal the slightest even in the lively crowd. Chin Luo noticed the sound, then raised his brows and swept to Charlotte Nings, who had died of anger. Although Chin Luo used the art of reincarnation, he did not resurrect Charlotte's son. After all, this guy committed a heinous crime, and it was already cheap for him to execute him. The voice of the phone bug came from Charlotte Nings's body. Chin Luo's figure flashed and disappeared directly in place. When he appeared, he was already standing beside Charlotte Nings. Some pirates and fish the people of Man Island looked stunned and looked at the figure of Lu Yunchen with doubts in their eyes. Universal pull. The corner of Chin Luo's mouth opened slightly, and his right hand grabbed the air. Suddenly, a slightly stronger attraction was released from Chin Luo's hand. Then, Charlotte Nings's clothes squeaked and was torn, and then the phone call the insect flew into Chin Luo's hands. Phone bug. Who is calling? At this moment, the sharp-eyed pirate asked after seeing the things in Lu Yunchen's hands. This phone bug belongs to Charlotte Nings, who knows who's calling. There were different opinions, but Chin Luo didn't have too much speculation and just answered the phone. Son, where are you? Is that Fishman Island really rich in desserts? An unpleasant harsh sound came from the phone bug, and the laughter of the woman inside was creepy. Oh, it turned out to be Big Mom. Chin Luo was overjoyed when he heard the familiar voice. Zhengqiu couldn't get in touch with this Big Mom, but he didn't expect this guy to take the initiative to call. Huh, who are you? Where's my son Charlotte Nings? Big Mom asked in a cold voice after a moment of silence. Your son Charlotte Nings. I've killed him. Killed to death. After Big Mom heard the words, there was a sharp laughter. The sound was so penetrating that some pirates couldn't help but frown. Mother, my sons are all gold ingots. You alone dare to beat my son to death. Whitebeard doesn't dare to have the courage of yours, kid. Say, where is my son? Charlotte Linlin obviously won't believe Chin Luo's words. Although her son is not as noble as the Tianlong people, he is also an existence that is rampant on the sea, and generally weak pirates do not dare to be presumptuous. Hearing that her son was killed by others today is the best joke Charlotte Linlin has heard. Yeah, it seems that you don't believe it very much. Chin Luo pretended to hold his head helplessly, a little helpless. Little devil, where is my son? Let him come out and answer the phone. Charlotte Linlin's voice became strangely cold, and there was an order in her tone, just like a king ordering his subjects. Big Mom, I've said it again, your son, Charlotte Nings, has been beaten to death by me. It's hanging over Fishman Island, believe it or not and see for yourself. Got it. By the way, I would like to remind you that you better come in person next time, otherwise, I can't guarantee that your son will be killed by me again. Bastard. Did you really kill the old lady's son? Didn't that bastard Capone Beige protect the old lady's son? Suddenly, Charlotte Linlin's incomparably furious voice came from the phone bug. The sharp and harsh voice was transmitted directly and far away, and got into the ears of countless pirates, causing their expressions to change. Even the people of Fishman Island were panicking and a little uneasy. Big Mom is a new force known as the New World. The number of Big Mom pirates is terrifying. All of this is due to Charlotte Linlin's rotten life. He has given birth to more than 200 children, of which 150 are boys. There are more than 50 girls, and Charlotte Linlin also let her children marry other families, forming a super alliance-like marriage. The entire Big Mom pirates has even surpassed the current Whitebeard pirates. If this Big Mom pirate group rages on Fishman Island, the consequences are equally terrifying. Big Mom, you're still as irritable as ever, my ears are numb. Is Capone Beige? He also died with your son. Tell you, your son was tortured to death by my knife. If there's nothing to do, I'll hang up first. Asshole. Before the scolding was finished, Chin Luo decisively hung up the phone of Big Mom. Charlotte Linlin would definitely come to provoke Chin Luo in the future. Chin Luo knew this well. If this Big Mom died down and didn't come to provoke Chinluo, then Chinluo would definitely hit the door himself. Dash 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 dash. Recommend my new book Open Black Lens Bracket Pirate God Level Alchemist. Close black lens bracket must kneel and beg for a wave. I posted 30,000 words today. Already fat. The old iron gate can be opened for slaughter. There are still a few manuscripts left, and they will be sent tomorrow. The new book is begging for a wave of support. Chapter 170. Wait for me to come to the door and slaughter you. Gollum. The pirates standing on Fishman Island rolled their throats in surprise, shocked. Hang up, hang up, hang up Big Mom's phone. A pirate stammered in surprise. He didn't expect Lu Yunshin to give Big Mom face so much, and even, on the phone, Lu Yunshin the tone and attitude is very tough, and I am not afraid of provoke a terrifying existence like Big Mom. It's over. This time, Big Mom must have been completely angered. This terrifying existence will definitely be immortal with Lu Yunshin. Definitely. This is Big Mom. She has already established a fierce reputation in the new world. Who would dare to provoke her? Hey. For a time, the pirates had different opinions, and while they were shocked by Lu Yunshin's strong attitude, they were even more worried about the future of Fishman Island. At the same time, in a place far away from Fishman Island, Cake Island, an unusually large room, it was quite dark, except for a few dim candles hanging on the walls, there was no light. But in this large room, there is an extraordinary large round table. On the table, there are all kinds of desserts, and beside the table, there is also a huge chair. There is a person sitting on the top of the body. This person is huge, countless times larger than normal people. At this moment, this person is opening his mouth with corrosive saliva dripping from the corners of his mouth. His huge palm is grabbing the cake on the table, frantically going to the table. Send in the mouth. This person is one of the future 4 emperors. Big Mom. And next to Big Mom, a girl of about teenage years stood there, watching Big Mom gobble. Mom, the phone is hung up. The girl said to Big Mom with a hint of anger on her delicate face. What? Hang up. Big Mom stopped immediately when he heard the words, and said angrily. Continue to fight, my mother, I want to ask clearly. Charlotte Linlin made a move, frowned and issued an order. Yes, Mom. The girl nodded, tapped her fingers, and continued to call. Hey, I said, are you annoying? Didn't I tell you? Charlotte Nings has been killed by me. Chin Luo's lazy and unhappy words reached Charlotte Linlin's ears. Hearing this, Charlotte Linlin's eyes widened, her mouth opened, revealing a row of terrifying teeth. Little devil, what's your name? Who dares to talk to my mother like that? Except for Whitebeard and that Roger, there is only Golden Lion left. You are the first kid who dares to be presumptuous in front of me. You even hang up my phone. I'm a celebrity. I'm the patron saint of Fishman Island. If you want revenge, come here. Chin Luo replied indifferently. His tone was flat, and he didn't take Charlotte Linlin in his eyes at all. Okay, kid, you're waiting for the old lady's army to destroy Fishman Island. I'll ask you one last question. Fishman Island, isn't it rich in desserts? Exactly, if you want to eat it, just come and get it. Of course, if you can get it. If you don't dare to come, then wait for me to come and slaughter you. Chin Luo sneered. He has already given set. I plan to let this Charlotte Linlin fall into the trap. This, Charlotte Linlin's originally fierce eyes suddenly burst into a bloody color, and immediately raised her big mouth, making a harsh laughter. Bastard, it's really ugly, damn it. After a harsh laugh came from the other end of the phone bug, Chin Luo frowned and cursed, and hung up the phone again. Do. Mom, hang up again. Charlotte ignored the little girl's answer at all, indulging herself in the desserts of Fishman Island. Everyone says that the desserts on Fishman Island are the best. I must try it myself. Marina, tell me to go down, arrange the battleships, and head for Fishman Island. This time, I will wipe out the entire Fishman Island. Yes, Mom. to resist Charlotte Linlin's order, nodded and hurriedly retreated. Desserts, or all mine. Hey, Fishman Island, it will also be owned by my Big Mom pirates in the future, what a cloud. I'll make you a dead cloud. Charlotte Linlin's huge ugly a murderous look broke out on his face, and his cold laughter spread far away. She sent Charlotte Nings to Fishman Island this time, just to get the information on whether Fishman Island has desserts, and even Charlotte Linlin gave her 300 million Baileys to this kid, intending to buy some back. If it was delicious, Charlotte Linlin would have set off to occupy the Fishman Island. Linlin didn't think much of Charlotte Nings's death at all. She had dozens of sons, and only one son died, which didn't disturb Charlotte Linlin's mind at all. Chin Luo hung up the phone, then slowly turned around and left. The crowd of Fishman Island and the pirates who were watching on the side immediately gave way to the pirates, staring at their patron saint, Lu, in shock and admiration. Cloud God. Big Mom, one of the future 4 emperors, was too powerful to be offended, so even if her subordinates made a fortune on Fishman Island, the people on Fishman Island would be afraid of Charlotte Linlin. Swallow it. Now, seeing the scene in front of you and hearing the rebellious conversation between Lu Yunshin and Big Mom, although the people on Fishman Island still have a trace of fear for Big Mom, they are still under the powerful protection of Lu Yunshin. Next, even this fear has turned into powder. As long as the God of Clouds shelters Fishman Island for one day, they will not be slaughtered by anyone. Floating Cloud God. Fishman and the Merman watched the god in their hearts pass by. The worship in their eyes had already flooded, and they shouted excitedly at the same time. Lu Yun God. More and more people shouted, and the surging crowd kept repeating this name, the name of their patron god. Thousands of years, the discrimination, oppression, enslavement and harm that Fishman and the mermaid have been subjected to, the dignity has already disappeared in the long oppression, but at this moment, everything is different. It's time to show the world the power of Fishman Island in this age of chaotic pirates. Chin Luo heard the crowd shouting his name, but Vivi nodded and waved his hand slightly indifferently. Because of his sky-defying strength, defeating this Charlotte's husband was completely unexpected, and he hadn't paid attention to such a small role. His real target is one of the future 4 emperors, Charlotte Linlin. What Chin Luo said on the phone just now was definitely not just bluffing. Before she could find him, he would go to trouble her. Chapter 171 Go for information. A gorgeous pirate ship was quietly docked at sea, and everyone on the deck blown by the salty sea breeze was more or less sleepy. Have you heard? Dad is going to shoot that guy Marco to Fishman Island. A pirate wearing a red scarf took a swig of rum in his hand, and said to a one-eyed pirate with a dignified expression. Could it be that something went wrong and a team captain was sent over there? The pirate with the red silk scarf sneered and said proudly, "This is what I found out with a lot of effort. Don't tell anyone else." After a pause, the red scarf pirate said slowly, "You should have heard that Fishman Island is now protected by clouds." The one-eyed pirate nodded. This matter was widely shared in the world, but not many people took it to heart. A guy who suddenly appeared and claimed to protect Fishman Island was like a fantasy, even if a strong man like Dad should think about it. After all, this is to fight against the world ZF. Hey, this is not the key is what happened next that surprised Dad. The silk scarf pirate said, "Did you know that there is a particularly popular business on Fishman Island?" The one-eyed pirate pondered for a while, and said somewhat uncertainly, "You were referring to the business of paying to beat the Tianlong people, but I heard that those Tianlong people are fake, and Fishman Island randomly found a few that look similar." The guy. Hey, that might be the case. However, at this time in the ship's conference room, several people were sitting at the large conference table discussing some unknown secrets. "Marco, are you sure about your news? That guy Big Mom really sent someone to Fishman Island?" Whitebeard said cautiously. After so many years on the sea, Whitebeard dared to say who he was afraid of, but there were many things that gave him headaches, including Big Mom. Phoenix Marco nodded earnestly. "Dad, although I don't know what Big Mom is doing on Fishman Island, it is rumored that her people have gone, and they even broke out of the basket on Fishman Island. They were suppressed by Luyun. You know it's a barren place, although the scenery is good, but all kinds of darkness can be seen everywhere, and you know that there is the infamous Fishman Street there. Quote. Whitebeard hasn't heard of the rumors on Fishman Street. It's just a group of hooligans who are not strong, but have unrealistic ambitions. I have to admit that some people are still daydreaming. It's beautiful. Leave that aside, I speculate that Big Mom went to Fishman Island for two purposes. One was to loot the delicious cakes on Fishman Island, and the other was to see the legendary business of beating the dragons. Whitebeard taking a deep breath, he said slowly, Marco, I'll send you to Fishman Island now to see if there is any such thing there. By the way, try not to deal with the people on the Big Mom ship. Get into trouble, that mad woman. Thinking of the appearance of Big Mom, Whitebeard felt uncomfortable. The world is so big, there is no wonder. Marco also knew that Dad didn't want to have too much involvement with Big Mom. Although Big Mom had never fought with him, he was a very tricky person. The boundaries were very clear, and no one could easily cross the line. This time Big Mom sent Charlotte Nings and Capone Beige to Fishman Island. According to the pirates, it seems that they were all killed by Luyun. When Marco first heard about Nings, a sneer flashed across his mouth. Although this guy is known as a big pirate of tens of millions, but celebrities don't speak secretly. At his level, giving 1 million Bailey is considered a high opinion of him. But when he heard Beige's name, Marco's brows couldn't help but wrinkle slightly. This guy is quite tricky, and he is also the #1 figure under Big Mom. I really didn't dare to say that there was a chance of winning. I didn't expect that it was rumored that this person was beaten to death by Luyun, and I don't know if it was true or not. At first, Marco didn't think much about it. He found the information and felt it was very important, so he hurried back to report it, and he didn't do the rest of the tasks. Okay, let's not talk nonsense. You can go on the road quickly, and then go to inquire about the information. This time, I want you to see the information that is believing. When necessary, go to Fishman Island with a phone bug. Aren't you exhausted from running back and forth like this? Hearing this, Marco scratched his head in embarrassment, turned around and walked out. Captain, can we have a good time when we go to Fishman Island this time? The brothers haven't relaxed for a long time, they're all suffocated. On the huge ship that was chopping the wind and the waves, a thin man with a sharp mouth and monkey cheeks was talking to Marco with a smirk. From time to time, a lewd light came from his narrow eyes. Marco used his toes to figure out what was going on in this guy's head. Originally, Marco wanted to refuse, but suddenly remembered that his brother on board seemed to have not relaxed for a long time, and has been training for a while. Luaka, it's okay to play, but it can't be too much. Marco pondered for a while, and said faintly, human, who hasn't been able to have a lot of emotions, you should relax when it's time to relax, and it's not an option to keep the strings tight. The thin man, Luo Cha, heard the captain's agreement, and the pimples on his face shook with excitement. It could be seen that this guy was really happy. To be honest, Marco also wants to relax his nerves. There has been a lot of things happening in the world recently, which has made him a little overwhelmed. The mermaid lady on Fishman Island should be pretty good. It is used to relieve stress. It is very suitable, however. 0. The speed of the boat was very fast, and Marco took a shortcut, and it didn't take long to reach the sea directly above Fishman Island. Hey, what is this? Luo Cha couldn't help taking a breath when he saw the huge tunnel on the sea. Not only was Loka frightened, but Marco was also stunned by the magnificent tunnel, and did not speak for a long time. Could the rumors be true? Marco thought to himself. The most rumored thing in the New World recently is that Luyun dug 2 huge tunnels on Fishman Island to facilitate communication with the outside world. At that time, Marco thought it was just a joke, or that Luyun deliberately exaggerated the propaganda. But when he saw these 2 real tunnels, Marco realized that he really underestimated the heroes of the world. Let's go, since you're here, there's no reason not to go and see. Marco calmed down and ordered. Luo Cha opened his mouth, wanting to say that since Lu Yun can dig a tunnel of this size, he should have captured a few Tianlong people easily, so let's just go back, and it should be okay to explain this to my father. Yes, if they encounter the legendary Lu Yun, their group will definitely not be able to get any benefits. As for the mundane thing of finding a few mermaid ladies to relax, Luo Cha himself didn't know when it was thrown into the clouds. But when Luoka saw Marco's black face, he couldn't open his mouth. He knew that once Marco made a decision, the 9 cows would not be able to pull it back. Thinking of this, he had to sigh and turn his head to command the crowd. Sail away. Chapter 172 Whitebeard's Surprise. Following the huge tunnel, Marco and his party finally came to Fishman Island 10,000 meters below the sea. Captain, look, isn't that Big Mom's ship? Luoka's small eyes actually saw that there were several pirate ships docked in the corner of the dock, with the Big Mom logo on it. Marco looked in the direction Luoka pointed, and couldn't help but be surprised. He was not surprised that there were Big Mom's ships docked here, but he was surprised that these ships were intact. What does this mean? This can only show that Charlotte Nings and the others have successfully landed and are progressing smoothly. If you continue to think about it like this, Lu Yun is not as strong as the legend. Thinking of this, a trace of disappointment appeared on Marco's face. It seemed that the excessively bragging cloud should have been solved by Capone Beige. A group of people strolled on the streets of Fishman Island, but there was no strange vision at all, as if they were not a vicious pirate, but a harmless baby. There's something wrong with the atmosphere, Captain. Loka walked quickly to Marco and whispered. Have you noticed it too? Marco couldn't help but wonder in his heart. The people here don't seem to be afraid of pirates at all, and along the way, have you met many guys who are famous in the New World? Luoka recalled for a while, and said in surprise, hey, when you say that, I really remember a few. Although the bounty is only a little over 100 million, it should be possible to walk sideways on Fishman Island. But what's surprising is that those guys who are usually arrogant are actually very honest and can be said to obey the rules. Marco's heart sank, and this was what made him feel incredible. He knew exactly where Fishman Island was. Although he was famous, he didn't have much strength. 2 people could round him up and flatten him. Walking for a while, Marco stopped in front of a pile of collapsed buildings with a heavy look on his face. Fuck, Captain, did an earthquake happen here just now? So many buildings collapsed. Luo Cha exclaimed. Idiot. Marco scolded inwardly, thank you for thinking it out. If there is an earthquake, what would it look like? Don't open your dog's eyes to see clearly. These are obviously all destroyed by manpower, and many of them were by shells caused by bombing. It seems that there was a fierce battle here not long ago. Marco's heart sank, and the doubts in his heart became more and more huge. There is no doubt that it should be the so-called protector of Fishman Island, Lu Yun, and the guy sent by Big Mom. This bombing looks just like Beige. The abilities of the guys are very similar. But who actually won that battle? If it is said that the people of Big Mom won, how could the people on the island be so peaceful and still do their own thing? But if it is said that Lu Yun won, then what about the intact pirate ships at the dock? Explain. However, just when Marco was stunned, a terrified scream suddenly came from his ear. If it wasn't for the fact that the source of the sound was very close to him, he wouldn't even believe that such a sharp voice was from the old man Luoka. Aren't you ashamed? Just as Marco was about to rebuke, he saw Luoka staring in one direction with a look of horror. His eyes were about to bulge out. Luoka, what are you doing in such a shock? Pay attention to your image. Maybe someone from Big Mom is around. If you spread out in such a humiliating way, do you still need your father's name? Marco said coldly, have a drink. But Luoka didn't seem to hear Marco's words at all. His eyes were still staring straight in that direction, and his body trembled uncontrollably, which was extremely surprised. Marco frowned and became sullen in his heart. What is so beautiful? He didn't even listen to me. Captain, Commander, are my eyes dizzy? Are the two people hanging above Charlotte Nings and Capone Beige? Luaka seemed to have lost his soul, with a barely audible voice said. Fortunately Marco was standing by his side, otherwise I really couldn't hear what this guy was saying. The two hanging. Nings. Beige. Marco was a little confused by Luaka, and his eyes looked curiously in that direction. Hi. Marco was shocked, the anger just now disappeared, and he finally understood why Luaka was so rude. Not far from the two people, it was the place where the Tianlong people were beaten, but there was a huge boulder standing against the sky not far away. On the boulder, a line of handwriting with flying dragons and phoenixes is spread on it, as if it was natural. But the most surprising thing is not the fearsome boulder, but the two people hanging from it. Marco rubbed his eyes in disbelief, and the two familiar faceplates were still imprinted in his sight. Captain, are all the big moms dead? Luo Cha swallowed hard, asked carefully, and then glanced at Beige's body. At this time, a huge wave was set off in Luaka's heart. That was Beige, the famous pillar of Big Mom's men, who was killed on such a small fish man island. For a time, Luo Cha began to think about whether his group could leave this ghost place alive. But fortunately, Marco is someone who has seen the big world. After being absent for a while, he immediately wakes up. The disobedience on his face has completely disappeared. He is also a little drummed in his heart. Should he continue to explore? If the mysterious Luyan the guy suddenly appeared, what should I do? For the sake of his own life, Marco cautiously pulled over a pirate he was familiar with and asked, and when he knew what happened in this place not long ago, even his breathing became a little abnormal. How is this possible? The Beige on the restless side can be solved with a wave of hands, and there is a secret method that can resurrect the dead. Everything seemed so unbelievable to Marco. For a while, he didn't even have the intention to continue inquiring. This guy named Luyan was really terrifying. 5.6. After figuring it out, Marco couldn't wait to get in touch with his father on the phone and told the news he had just obtained. Phone bug. Whitebeard was silent for a while without speaking. It seems that this Luyan really has 2 strokes, and he is so courageous that he dares to challenge Big Mom. Now I am really curious about this guy. Okay, now that I know everything, you don't have to stay there anymore, just come back for now. Hearing what his father said, Marco didn't know why he felt a lot more relaxed, so after hanging up the phone bug, he waved his hand and left the place where he felt uneasy without looking back. However, at the same time, Big Mom has already sent 2 Admiral members to lead 10 pirate ships with sufficient ammunition to head to Fishman Island with all their strength, and a bloody storm is coming. Chapter 173 7th Full Level. Chin Luo's eyes showed deep thought. He was not in a hurry to upgrade to the full level. He first asked about it and said, "Don't be a rubbish full level by then it will be a big loss." Devouring full level. Is it improved? Devouring full level. Hearing this, Chin Luo couldn't help but stunned for a moment. What's the ability to swallow a full level? Devouring the full level, swallowing everything, is somewhat similar to the principle of the black hole, but the swallowing full level also has a super metamorphosis technique, which can devour the devil fruit ability of the pirate world and devour their fruit. What? To devour their fruit? Hearing this, Rao couldn't help being horrified because of Chin Luo's character. If he swallowed this fruit, the devil fruit person would no longer exist. System, can I devour the Gorosei, 5 elders, devil fruit? The devil fruits of the Gorosei, 5 elders are the fruits of life, devour their fruit and you will be perverted. You can. It's great. I'll step into the Holy Land right now and kill the Gorosei, 5 elders. Chin Luo jumped up and looked excited. Wait, host. If you swallow a super powerful devil fruit, you will consume points. If you swallow it once, it will consume 100,000 points. What? Consuming 50,000 points? Chin Luo's eyes widened. This is just robbery. How can it be so expensive? I can directly smash Gorosei, 5 elders and completely rule the world. I didn't expect that a single swallow would consume 100,000 points. Now Chin Luo is confused. is he upgrading or not? If you don't upgrade the Devourer to the full level, you will have nothing to do with the 5 old things from Gorosei 5 Elders. If you upgrade the Devourer to the full level, this thing will cost Qinluo a lot of points. For a time, Qinluo fell into a tangle among. Remind the host, whether to improve. Remind the host, whether to improve. Remind the host, whether to improve. Warning, warning, warning. Elevate. Qinluo gritted his teeth, stomped his feet, his eyes spit fire, and he decided directly and decisively. Ding. Upgrade successfully. Successfully increase devouring full level. Ding. Unlock the ability to devour devil fruit. Unlock success. Consumption points. 60,000. Remaining points. 114,390. Damn it. Qinluo's heart was bleeding as he looked at the greatly reduced points. But in order to completely kill the Gorosei 5 Elders, what is the point of mere points? There are still 114,390 points left, which can completely obliterate one of the Gorosei 5 Elders. After thinking for a while, Qinluo couldn't help but sneer. Finally, he found a way to kill the Gorosei 5 Elders. So, who's going to shoot first? Just as Qinluo was thinking, a golden light flashed in front of his eyes, and then a miniature 9-color demon fox appeared beside Qinluo. Boss! Juwei stretched his tail and jumped onto Qinluo's lap, screaming excitedly. Juwei, what's the matter? Have you found the devil fruit? Qinluo calmly looked at the miniature Juwei in front of him and said. I found it, boss, but I can't compare to that perverted guy Itachi. He has already robbed 20 devil fruits, and I robbed them. Saying that, the 9-tailed claws spread out, and the devil fruits rolled out one by one. Seeing the 5 devil fruits on the ground, Qinluo nodded. That's right, compared to Feijuan's funny comparison, you are much stronger than him. Feijuan has been out for so long, and he hasn't come back once, there must be none of them. Found it. Qinluo smiled lightly and comforted Juwei. If Feijuan knew that his master was making fun of him, he would definitely spit out a mouthful of old blood. Nima, who said I didn't find one? I'll grab one too, okay. It's just that I was busy peeking with people recently, and I was killed. Qinluo doesn't have the coordinates of Feijuan, and he doesn't know how Feijuan is now, but when he thinks back about Feijuan's perverted undead ability, it is comparable to Gorosei 5 Elders. So don't care too much. I've accepted the devil fruit. Juwei, do something with me, it's absolutely cool. Qinluo waved his sleeves and took the devil fruit directly. It would be nice to make up for a little loss. At the same time, the world government, Gorosei 5 Elders, dispatched 2 of its 990s. One was the bald old man who was the knife-wielding old man in loose robes, and the other, a slender, beige beard. Eye-catching with hair, also one of the Gorosei 5 Elders. At this moment, 20 warships are lined up neatly, sailing on the seas of the New World, receiving secret missions. Marshal Kong with Garp, Sengoku and others go together, and there are 2 dead servants secretly following. This terrifying force is enough to turn the New World upside down. Even the One Piece King of Pirates, Roger, who are stronger than the future, will be eclipsed and shunned. This is the most elite force of the Marine headquarters. The warship is equipped with countless powerful and terrifying artillery with extremely wide lethality. Within a kilometer, no grass will grow. At this moment, 2 of the Gorosei 5 Elders are standing on the main battleship, looking at the boundless sea. What's wrong? The beige-haired old man looked at the sea, and looked at the old man with the knife indifferently. When the old man with the knife heard the words, his brows became even tighter, and the long knife in his hand directly split the sea kings that emerged from the water in front of him into 2 pieces. I don't know, I always feel uneasy. At the place where the knife was slashed, the old man with the knife slowly retracted the long knife, and looked solemnly at the sea king who was killed by the knife. Aren't you too nervous? Even Roger is afraid of our combat power. Who else is our opponent above the sea? Chapter 174 Intercept. Puff. Soon, the waves splashed, and the sea kings suddenly turned into 2 living segments. Blood spurted out, and the huge sea kings were slashed to death by a knife. The calm sea was chaotic, and the surrounding currents became violent. 2 water columns rose into the sky, and the sea kings lay down in the sea, dyeing the waters red. After seconds of the Sea King, the old man with the knife looked solemn, and the warship shuttled between the 2 bodies of the Sea King. Seeing the neat cuts on it, countless Marines were shocked. What a strong sword energy! Splitting the Sea Kings with 1 knife. Lord Garose, 5 elders is really good. The 2 old men standing on the deck of the warship did not hear Marine's voice. Are you thinking too much? The beige, colored-haired old man saw the warship passing by unharmed, and the topic changed again. Thinking too much. Maybe, or maybe not. Just above the New World, 20 warships were slowly heading towards their destination. Suddenly, at a position of 100 meters in front, the space suddenly fluctuated, and then a hole similar to a black hole suddenly opened in the space, and then the hole appeared. Gradually getting bigger, Chin Luo and the 9-tailed demon fox came out of it. Master, I didn't expect you to be able to use Uchiha Obito's divine power. As soon as he came out, the 9-tailed demon fox had a look of longing and couldn't help but worship. Well, don't talk nonsense, Juwei, the warship of Marine's headquarters is in front. Chin Luo said indifferently. At this moment Chin Luo was wearing a mask, wearing a red cloud and black robe, using the identity of Lu Yun. 9 tails, don't let them get too comfortable, let them have a taste of a few tailed beast cannons. Yes. Hearing the order, Juwei's expression suddenly became solemn, and then, the body rose high against the wind, and the evil scarlet chakra quickly emerged from its huge body, and suddenly, the surrounding air was dyed with a hazy color. Seeing this, Chin Luo moved his footsteps slightly, and flew directly into the sky, stepping on the huge head of the 9-tailed demon fox. The overlord of the sea is at full level, Sea King. Boom! Suddenly, the whole sea could not help but tremble, and then, tons of sea water swept up in a domineering manner. In an instant, countless huge sea kings in the depths of the sea seemed to be summoned, and at the same time, they rushed towards the sky, far away. Looking from a distance, there are no less than a few thousand. Ah, too much, too much. Go back some. Feeling the crazy excited appearance of the Sea Kings, Chin Luo couldn't help but feel ashamed. Damn, he just wanted to summon dozens of Sea Kings to block the warships of Marine headquarters. It's just that, I didn't expect to use it a little, and it will have such a big impact. Ow tilde. Ooh. Those Sea Kings seemed to sense Chin Luo's voice. After the order, only 200 of the thousands of Sea Kings rushed up in a frenzy, and the rest stopped obediently and cried pitifully. However, Chin Luo didn't have time to listen to the sorrows of those Sea Kings at this time. What's the matter? Suddenly, the originally stable Marine headquarters warship swayed frantically, and a large amount of seawater rushed up and directly hit the side of the ship. Between the roars, tons of seawater flew into the sky and fell violently. When it fell, countless Marines fell to the ground by this huge amount of amazing seawater. Even some Marines were caught off guard, and a wave was swept into the sea and disappeared. The clear sky suddenly disappeared, thick dark clouds rolled from the horizon, the sky was dark, the thunderclouds were like billions of black water surging, and the entire sky was suppressed. Damn, what's going on? The beige-haired old man's eyes were wrinkled as he looked down. Weird. Everyone is on alert. The old man with the knife gave a warning at the rear. The long knife in his hand was suddenly pulled out, and a cold light shot out from the knife. The old man with the knife flipped and slashed out a sword energy. The sword chi whistled, like a frightening dragon. The vast and ferocious slashing waves swept out extremely domineeringly, and immediately cut off the seawater rushing in front of him. A knife fell, and suddenly, another huge Sea King jumped out of the water, and the seawater that had fallen down was raised several times again. The waves splashed, the seawater swept, and the water column shot up into the sky. The scene was extremely shocking, and the huge Sea King in front of him, just a mouth, was enough to swallow the entire warship. In front of this Sea King, humans are like ants, very small. Roar. The huge sea kings let out a roar and burst into the sword-wielding old man on the warship. The originally calm sea was extremely depressing at the moment. The fangs on the mouth flickered with cold light, and they devoured the entire warship. Bastard! The old man with the knife clenched his iron fist and shouted word by word, and then, the long knife swiped quickly in the air, and a tornado of sword energy was formed directly. 3,600 paths, the death tornado. The eyes of the old man with the knife were sharp, and the long knife in his hand brought afterimages in the passages. Immediately, a white substance tornado of death directly condensed and formed, and roared away at the sea kings. Roar. The Neptune's neck stretched forward, its huge mouth roared, and the eardrums of countless marines were sore that the Neptune collided directly towards the death tornado. Boom. The two meet together, and the huge and amazing water waves are directly turned into powder in the death tornado, and they are cut into countless tiny particles. The shards, like rotting glass, crashed down. One knife, behead. Humph. Dare to touch my death god tornado head on, and don't even look at what you are. The old man with the knife snorted contemptuously, and then retracted the long knife. Steady, continue going, the old man with the knife commanded. At this moment, countless warships vibrated violently, as if the whole ship was about to roll over. Boom, boom. What's the matter? Big. The big thing is bad. There are countless sea kings under the sea, and the road ahead of us to going is completely blocked, and we can't drive at all. What are you kidding? Kong glared coldly, glared at the soldier, and then looked forward. I saw the sea in front of me. At this moment, there were no less than hundreds of giant sea kings. Each of them stared fiercely at them, full of hostility. Even the underside of the warship was surrounded by sea kings, and for a while, it was difficult for the ship to go. Damn it! Where did this sea king come from? Chapter 175 All Out. The warship is surrounded by dozens of huge sea kings. In front of their bodies, the warship looks extremely small, and it is difficult to enter. Sir, could it be that you just killed the leader of the sea kings? That's why so many sea kings swarmed to attack. Kong frowned, walked to the old man with the knife, and guessed. It's definitely not that simple. Everyone is on alert. I have a bad feeling. Yes. Kong nodded, then turned around, and issued an order to all Marines on the warship. Everyone is ready, don't panic. Roar. At this moment, the air suddenly shrank a few hundred meters ahead, and then, a huge silver-tailed beast cannon emerged from the front of the nine-tailed demon fox. The terrifying power was like a small sun. The destruction of the sky and the earth swept over, and waves of heart-pounding fluctuations were set off on the sea. Tens of thousands of tons of seawater were affected, and a deep gully protruded directly from the sea. With the going of the tailed beast cannon, the gully became longer and longer, and from a distance, it seemed that the sea was surrounded by water. Divide into two sections. Then, what is that? Bastard! It's coming towards our battleship. Run away. What a terrifying power. Among the Marines, all the characters above the general level are clearly aware that 377 has the momentum of destroying the sky and destroying the earth, and the momentum is huge, like a disaster. Knife-wielding old man and the beige, colored-haired old man had a solemn expression. His face was gloomy, and he didn't say a word. I'm coming. Suddenly, the old man with the knife took a step forward, and the long knife in his hand was flying extremely fast. Even Marine at the admiral level just saw the old man with the knife's arm swaying rapidly, and couldn't see the shadow of the sword at all. 1,000 layers slash. The old man with the knife suddenly snorted, and then, the vast sword energy accumulated in front of the Hungarian. The empty blade slashed a very large arc, and the crescent-shaped sword energy went straight to the oncoming tail beast cannon. A super-large sword energy, like a blow to the sky, shook the seawater in front of it into powder, and even the dozens of sea kings below were violently shredded by the waste, and penetrated unstoppably. One giant sea king after another. Continuously advancing forward, looking from a distance, this huge sword energy exudes an almost substantial blue light. On the vast sea, the entire blue light's blade shadow extends for hundreds of meters, and it slashes down. The sea water instantly turned into two sections, and none of those huge sea kings were spared. All of them were shattered by the terrifying sword energy under this terrifying prestige. Boom boom boom. At the moment when the huge blue phantom sword chi touched the tailed beast cannon, the air trembled violently, and the time in the sky seemed to be stagnant. The tailed beast cannon suddenly exploded, and it was smashed by a few hundred meters of slashes. Then, layers of sword energy, hundreds of thousands of layers, rushed down in anger. The tailed beast cannon exploded, and the huge shock wave quickly spread out in all directions. The entire sea surface was under the huge impact, and the pressure was lowered by dozens of meters, rendering the surrounding sky scarlet. The shock wave of the explosion directly dissipated the sword energy of the old man with the knife, and the aftermath swept out directly, hitting the 20 warships. Immediately, hundreds of pirates sprayed blood and fell all at once. Some people covered their ears and knelt on the ground shivering. The huge power is shaking the sky and the earth, causing countless powerhouses to look sideways. Kyubi, you're blocked. Humph. This old man is somewhat capable, and his strength is similar to that of Whitebeard. I didn't use much effort last time. Why did I use 50% of my skills this time, but I was blocked? Nine Tails, last time Whitebeard didn't really open up with you. He left his spare capacity, so today you can vent as much as you like. Hey, alright. Hearing this, a wicked smile appeared on the corner of the nine-tailed demon fox's mouth, and the huge-tailed beast cannon condensed and formed in front of the Hungarian, and this time there were not only one, but 7. 7 stars in a row, tailed beasts in a row. Boom boom boom. Suddenly, the 7-tailed beast cannons, like 7 bullets, rushed forward frantically, surging with strong energy, directly passing through the sky, penetrating the huge black cloud, and revealing in front of 20 battleships. What? On the majestic sea, the beige, colored-haired old man squinted his eyes as the wind blew. He noticed that there was an even more terrifying energy rushing forward. With the knife looked cold, and Vivi couldn't help shaking. Bastard! Garp! Sengoku! Block me! When Kong saw the terrifying tailed beast in front of him, he became flustered and directly called the elites from the Marine headquarters to join him. Garp's expression was solemn, and he didn't know where it came from. He directly lifted a super-large cannonball almost twice his size. The thick black shell gave people an unusually solemn feeling. At the moment of lifting, the entire warship clucked. There was a thud, and even the deck beneath Garp's feet had been trampled to pieces. Fist bone. Oversized iron ball. Garp gritted his teeth and swung his right arm, and the entire oversized iron ball leapt out in a frenzy. The dignified iron ball in the air, instead of slowing down, had a strong momentum and collided with the tailed beast cannon. Sengoku also transformed into Zone Mythical, the form of a giant Buddha, and now his whole life has been raised several times, like a god Buddha, with the Buddha's light lingering behind him, which is extremely terrifying. Shockwave. The huge palm was pushed out, and immediately from the palm of the hand, a circle of ripples flew out quickly, and rolled towards the front. Meteor Volcano. Akainu also used the Logia Devil Fruit ability, turning his hands into fiery lava, and the red-hot lava shot out from his arms and fell to the deck, burning through a large hole. Then, one after another, huge giant magma fists rushed directly to the sky. Suddenly, the entire sky turned into a sea of lava. Several lava fists collided together, and countless pieces of debris exploded, like splendid fireworks. Yasukani no Magatama. Borsalino also jumped up slightly, his figure flashed, and leapt into the void, his entire body turned into photons, and countless rays of light were like silver needles, shooting frantically towards the tailed beast cannon. Standing on the body of the nine-tailed demon fox, Chinluo closed his eyes and felt the fluctuations in front of him. He couldn't help but be amazed. What a big battle! 9 tails, those boys actually joined forces to deal with your tailed beasts. Chapter 176. You didn't die last time, you are so lucky. Boss, what did you say? The nine-tailed demon fox was distracted for a while, but he didn't hear what Qin Luo was talking about. I said you. Strong. Very strong. Hearing this, the nine-tailed demon fox said with a wicked smile, then the boss is complimenting me. That's right. The tailed beast cannon in front and the main force of the marine headquarters were instantly impacted together. After Garp's extra-large artillery shell hit the tail beast cannon, it exploded directly, and the huge energy spread directly to the surrounding. Boom 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 boom. The flames soared into the sky, and the temperature of the surrounding air instantly rose to a terrifying level, and the sea surface, under the intense heat energy, turned the icy sea surface into a piece of boiling water, bubbling and bubbling, even the Dead Sea Kings. There was a smell of being cooked, and the surrounding sea area was filled with a smell of meat. The explosion is still continuing, the temperature of the fiery flame is already terrifying, and the temperature in the center has surpassed the temperature of the lava. Boom 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 boom. The lava fists smashed down quickly, directly smashing the earth-shattering fireball into a big hole, and then, in the surprised eyes of everyone, they healed together. As the lava entered, the temperature rose sharply. Akainu, stop the attack. Your lava attack is ineffective. Sengoku hurriedly advised with a gloomy face. Asshole. After Akainu also saw his meteor volcano smashed down, the flames were even higher, completely out of control. Kuzan. Sengoku unleashed a shockwave and shouted directly. Understood. Kuzan nodded. Water beats fire. And ice can restrain the flame better. Ah. It's so hot. It's so hot. Quote. I'm going to blow up. I'm going to jump into the sea. Don't jump, the sea water is boiling. You will only be boiled to death if you jump down. Countless Marines were sweating profusely, the fire was soaring, the 20 warships were illuminated red, and even some wooden structures had already begun. Smoke and burn. And the Marine's skin was also extremely hot, naked, exposed, extremely red from baking, and severely burned. Ice time. Quote. Kuzan's figure flashed, and an icicle spread from his feet. Then, he fell to the sea along the icicle, and the water around him continued to bubble. The cold air that can instantly freeze a person is sprayed onto the sea surface. Suddenly, the boiling water slowly stopped, and then an ice block emerged. Then, the ice block expanded rapidly, densely packed and endless. In the blink of an eye, the sea where the 20 warships were located was covered with a thick layer of ice. The depth reaches tens of meters. A cold air penetrated the body. Who tilde it's so comfortable. Ah, cool tilde. Kuzan Vice Admiral, you are awesome. Quote. The temperature around him dropped rapidly, and it was even too hot. He had already jumped off the warship and lay on the ice to offset the heat in his body. At this time, 30 meters away from the 20 warships, a long flame of flames opened their mouths and charged directly at them. If their warships were hit, Marine would suffer at least half of the casualties. Rankyaku Tempest Kick. At this moment, the beige-haired old man stepped forward directly, his right foot swayed in the void, and a circular slashing wave flashing with bright golden light swept toward the sea. Boom! A monstrous water column suddenly shot out, and the slashing wave slashed down, raising the sea water outside by dozens of meters, and a water layer like a waterfall rushed towards the flame dragon. A large amount of astonishing cold air burst out from both hands. After the two white cold air collided with the sea water, the huge sea layer split by the beige-haired old man was directly frozen by Kuzan. Above the ice layer, the thick ice instantly turned into countless powders, which were shattered by the impact. However, under this resistance, the originally domineering and powerful flame suddenly lost 7/10 of its power. 3600. Death Tornado. The arm of the old man with the knife shook violently, the shadow of the knife flickered, and then, a tornado of death roared out, carrying a huge and astonishing seawater, and rushed away. Shaved. Moon Step. Quote. Kuzan was beside him, and at the moment when the flames collided with the death tornado, two huge icicles emerged from his hands and stabbed directly at the death tornado. It instantly turned into an icicle, and while being cut by the knife gas, it rushed into the depths of the flame like a needle in a seam, and then the entire flame was destroyed. Woo! Seeing that the flame dragon was destroyed, everyone felt relieved. Then, the old man with the knife said solemnly, "Has our actions leaked out? Why would someone intercept it here, and what the hell is this huge cannonball?" Quote. It can be said that the old man with the knife saw this kind of thing for the first time. The huge-tailed beast cannon, the terrifying power, could not help but make people tremble. "I don't know. I've never seen it either." Beige Hair also said suspiciously. Kong, Garp and others also frowned, saying that they had never met Chin Luo exchanged the nine-tailed demon fox at that time. Except for Whitebeard, who had tasted the nine-tailed demon fox's tail beast cannon, no one else had encountered it. Slowly, the smoke and dust in front dissipated, and then, a huge figure slowly walked out of the smoke and dust. Then, what is that? A Marine roared in disbelief as his throat rolled. Looked towards the place Marine pointed. A huge body, 9 thick and thick tails, and that scarlet evil aura. What is this? Bastard. Is this a sea king? Not like. This is a fox. And 9 tails. 0. What is this? Zone devil fruit mythical. I've never seen it. What an evil breath. What is this? One person pointed to the gas that was slowly turning scarlet in front of him, and replied in horror. Look, there's a person on this fox. That's a red cloud and a black robe. Sengoku suddenly saw a figure on the 9-tailed demon fox. The figure was familiar and unfamiliar. What? Red clouds and black robes. Flowing clouds. Kong trembled in his heart and looked up. It turned out to be Lu Yun. What? Lu Yun. That powerhouse who destroyed the Holy Land. Lu Yun. It's over. It's dead this time. It doesn't have to be Lu Yun. Last time in the Holy Land, we also caught a person wearing a red cloud and black robe. He is not Lu Yun. And this person in front of me. It's not necessarily Lu Yun. Everyone's heart trembled uncontrollably, especially the beige-haired old man and the knife-wielding old man. They had played against Feijuan, and Feijuan also wore the red cloud black robe, but at that time, Feijuan was actually beheaded. A Gorosei 5 elders. Although there is a lot of luck and the Gorosei 5 elders are unfamiliar with this flying style, but what scares them is this kid, who also has an immortal god. His body is cut into pieces, in prison for 3 days, cannot die. This is what scares the Gorosei 5 elders. Caution, even if this person is not Lu Yun. He is also a strong person. This organization, absolutely do not accept unknown people. At the same time as the old man with the knife warned, Chin Luo jumped up directly, stepped on the void, looked at the crowd, and said with a smile, Gorosei 5 elders, you didn't die last time, you are so lucky. Chapter 177 Complete Body, Susano. Who the hell are you? The old man with the knife raised his head alertly, his expression uncertain. Who am I? It seems that you are really a noble person who forgets things. Chin Luo's mouth curled up and smiled. When I was in the Holy Land, did I forget the power of planetary devastation? Planetary devastation. When the beige-colored old man heard the words, his pupils shrank suddenly. You said that huge and astonishing meteorite. Could it be? You are really a cloud. The old man with the knife stared at the figure in front of him, and a sense of horror suddenly surrounded his body, and a sense of crisis suddenly emerged. Looks like you haven't forgotten. Asshole. Kong clenched his iron fist and gritted his teeth angrily. That day, he was in the Marine headquarters, and he had never seen Lu Yun's real body. This was the first time Kong had met this person. Bombing. There was no nonsense at all. The old man with the knife directly gave an order, and suddenly, 20 huge warships, on both sides of each warship, were lined up with 50 cannons, plus the portable heavy weapons that could be loaded on the warship. It can be said that this is the most equipped equipment of the Marine headquarters, and it is only equipped to pick up Lord Tianlong. The combat power of one warship is enough to sweep away more than 5 ordinary warships, but here there are 20 warships with the same configuration. This force is enough to sweep any big pirate in the New World. The backbone of the Marine headquarters on the 20 warships. Countless muzzles are turned wildly, and the angle is adjusted. Bang! 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 Cannonballs with huge inertia, dense like raindrops, poured down frantically, and countless white smoke suddenly rose into the sky, covering the entire sea area. At the same time, violent gunshots sounded, tens of thousands of people. The bullets shot directly into the smoke and swept away towards the figure in front. Huh! Qin Luo smiled lightly, his eyes looking at the main battleship on the sea, all the backbone of Marine headquarters and the last boss Gorose, 5 elders. 9 tails. Qin Luo raised his right hand and Vivi stretched forward as a reminder. Yes, master. Zhu tilted his head, with an evil smile hanging from the corner of his mouth, and then, amidst all the indiscriminate bombardment, his huge body suddenly rose to the sky and roared. Roar! With the roar of the 9 tails, an invisible shock wave spread directly along the sea, and a huge wave was set off on the sea. Oversized tail beast cannon. The 9-tailed Hungarian quickly condensed, and the evil and terrifying energy suddenly swept all the warships. A black and white photon-like energy fluctuation in front of the 9-tailed quickly condensed, and a tailed beast cannon slowly took shape. Boom! The figure of the 9 tails flashed, and the huge claws covered with rich chakra shot directly on the tailed beast cannon. There was a loud bang, and countless artillery shells were immediately thrown out by the violent energy, and the flames shot into the sky, as if a nuclear bomb had been detonated. A semicircle of several hundred meters was directly obscured by the sky, and the dazzling red light rushed out frantically. The shells and the tailed beast cannon meet together, burning violently in the sky, like brilliant fireworks. And the dense bullets were also smashed into pieces in this shocking fluctuation. Bastard, keep fighting. The old man with the knife roared with a gloomy face. Fire! Boom boom boom. Boss, you don't need to take action, I can solve it myself. Seeing Qin Luo planning to take action, Zhu hurriedly stopped. Boss, let me shoot them a few times, it's really cool and enjoyable. It's better than hitting Uchiha. Bakudo is cool. Spot. Mouth was indifferent. Just when Zhu was going to use his 9 huge scarlet tails to resist those shells, the eyes under Qin Luo's mask had slowly turned into a writing wheel eye, and then, twisted wildly, became a kaleidoscope writing wheel eye, and finally, turned into an eternal kaleidoscope writing wheel eye. Afterwards, a blue skeleton frame directly covered Qin Luo's body, and the blazing rays of light stabbed countless Marines, unable to open their eyes. What is this? Bastard! Lu Yun still has such a move. Alert, give me vigilance. Seeing the huge blue skeleton frame that was no smaller than the 9 tails, the old man with the knife appeared straight out of his body. The strange uneasiness made the Marines shiver and panic. And the Marines on the 20 warships jumped up and down like ants on a hot pan. Above the blue skeleton, almost instantly, countless armors swept up, covering the surface of the blue skeleton. In a blink of an eye, a huge blue body holding 2 long swords emitting blue light. Susano is fully formed. A terrifying and heart-pounding wave madly swept the entire sea. Countless pairs of eyes widened. Marines looked at the complete body Susano in the sky in astonishment, their throats rolled, and they didn't even have the slightest mood to resist. Bastard! At the moment when the huge complete body Susano appeared, the old man with the sword felt depressed to the extreme. Bang bang bang. Ding 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 ding. Countless cannonballs hit Qin Luo's complete body, Susanengu, without causing any substantial damage to Qin Luo. Those cannonballs were simply fragile. How is it possible? What a strong defense. What the hell is this? Countless people shivered, and their hearts were extremely desperate. Cheer up. Old man with the knife saw that the Marines were like scattered sand, not in the mood to fight. He immediately waved the long knife in his hand, and a slash of blue light turned into a huge shock wave and shot out. Huh. Qin Luo smiled lightly and waved the long sword in his hand at will. Boom. 2 surging sword chi roared out and collided fiercely on the sea surface. The huge shock wave collided, and the blue light continued to shine, and finally, it was cancelled in place. Gorosei, 5 elders, so eager to start 1.6, do you want to step into hell earlier? Humph. Seeing that Chinluo's Susanengu was so perverted, with just a random wave, he blocked his ultimate move, and he couldn't help but feel cold in his heart. Where are you going to be so excited? Are you going to pick up the Tianlong people you are protecting? If that's the reason, I advise you not to go. Because, you will all die in front of me today. Chinluo was indifferent to Isho, and then, his complete body with blue glow, Susanengu, jumped up directly, with a bang. His feet stepped towards the sea, the entire sea seemed to be materialized, and the huge waves swept out. A domineering tsunami of more than 10 meters high rushed directly towards the 20 warships. Mortals, I'll show you today, the power of God. Chapter 178 Gorosei, 5 elders are out. Boom. The complete body, Susano, flashing with blue light, stepped directly on the sea surface. The violent fluctuations stirred up countless waves, and layers of seawater rushed towards the surroundings. The tsunami of dozens of meters. In the blink of an eye, he was raised several times by Chinluo's complete body, Susanang. The huge waves rolled, and the layers of the pavement came. Kuzan. Seeing the tsunami resembling the reclamation of the grave, the old man with the knife called Kuzan directly. After all, Kuzan is a person with the ability to freeze fruit, so it is most suitable to deal with this kind of seawater. Kuzan raised his head, his black curly hair fluttered in the wind. A dignified look flashed across his dark face, and the whole person turned into a streamer, flashing beside the tsunami. Ice time, quote. Kuzan stretched out his hands and exhaled a cold air at the same time, and suddenly, countless cold air burst out wildly. Want to freeze again? Chinluo looked at Kuzan with deep eyes, and the long knife in his hand slashed directly at lightning. There was a sound explosion in the space, and then, the entire Air 12 was split in half, and a blue flash of light flew obliquely at a tricky angle. Damn! Kuzan sensed the crisis, his hands hurriedly stopped, and the figure burst out. Then, a hotly incomparably high sword slashed down suddenly, smashing part of the seawater that Kuzan had just frozen into powder, and the huge wave crashed directly into Marine S-20 warships. Asshole! Beige haired old man's face turned blue with anger, his figure flashed, he rose into the air, and his right foot quickly kicked down. Golden astral wind. A strong hockey shock wave radiated bright light and quickly crashed into the tsunami. Huh. Chinluo was indifferent to Isho, and the long knife in his hand slashed forward and collided with the golden hurricane. Boom. A sky-shattering loud noise exploded directly between the two, and the powerful shock wave flew out towards the surroundings at a speed 10 times faster than before. The strong energy, like a sharp blade, directly swept away everything. The energy slammed into the tsunami, and the shock wave turned into a thin line, which immediately split the tsunami in half. However, this shock wave only cut the seawater. The shock wave swept through, and the tsunami was connected again, and it rushed forward. Boom! Countless Marines opened their eyes wide and looked directly at the tsunami carrying an astonishingly large force, hitting several warships. The sea water spurted out, and the rushing Marine people turned their backs. I'm coming! Sengoku shouted angrily, his beard trembled slightly, and his huge palm directly split 2 shock waves, blasting the sea water in front of him. However, the entire warship was shaking violently, and even after Sengoku blasted out 2 shock waves, the rushing figure rolled over, and the Marines shouted for help, swept away by the sea, and all fell. The sea water rushed through, and the 20 warships that were originally neat and uniform suddenly shifted their directions and retreated dozens of meters away, and some of the equipment on the warships was completely submerged by the sea water, and all failed. Asshole! Come on, old man! The knife-wielding old man shouted angrily and stepped on the warship with a slammed foot. Cracks appeared on the entire deck, and then the knife-wielding old man swept up. I'm coming too. Beige, haired old man also stretched his arms, and his figure turned into afterimages, appearing above the void. Bastard, Lu Yun, you destroy my government, destroy my holy land. Today, this old man vows to kill you. The old man with the knife flashed a cold light in his eyes. Blow. Dozens of glowing slashes converged together to form a golden cross slash, which charged sharply and tyrannically. Facing the slashing of the old man with the knife, Qin Luo did not hesitate at all, and it was a knife to go up. Under the complete body, Susanengu, it would be as difficult for the old man with the knife to hurt him. Even without the blessing of this Susanengu, Qin Luo would be able to blow this guy up entirely with his physical body. Boom. With a casual slash, he cut out a huge sword chi that was more than 10 meters long and several meters wide. However, no matter how you look at it, it's all Qin Luo's horror. The cross cut by the old man with the knife met the sword energy of the long sword under Qin Luo's Susanengu, and was instantly swallowed up and completely disappeared. What? Even more terrifying than the sword aura of Lord Gorosei, 5 elders. The elites of the Marine headquarters saw that after the sword chi of Lord Gorosei, 5 elders collided with the sword chi released by Qin Luo, it was like a child who saw the adults and was suppressed. Bastard. So strong. The old man with the knife saw his sword energy being submerged, his expression instantly solidified, and he glared at Lu Yun with gnashing teeth. Shaved. Golden Renkyaku, Tempest Kick. Seeing that the strike of the old man with the knife was submerged, the figure of the beige-haired old man burst into flames, killing Qin Luo's complete body, Susano. A domineering golden light flashed, and he kicked the whole body Susano. Boom. The surging energy was transmitted from his feet, and the blazing golden light was like a golden sun, sending out heart-pounding fluctuations. Hee. Hit. The beige-haired old man hit and kicked, his dignified face suddenly relaxed, and a sinister smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. His kick is not a bit stronger than the admiral's in the Marine headquarters. Even if he encounters Whitebeard, Whitebeard can only run away. Route 700 books dare not shake it. Therefore, he has confidence in his own foot. Do the dignified Gorosei, 5 elders like people behind their backs? Qin Luo's indifferent voice came out, and then he controlled the long knife and slashed straight down. What? The beige-colored-haired old man's eyes suddenly showed a hint of panic, and the whole person turned into a shooting star and retreated frantically. Then, he looked at Qin Luo with lingering fears. Lu Yun, you hit me, you're all right. The beige-haired old man looked crazy, stared at his eyes, and there was a strong shock in his tone. Why am I in trouble? Qin Luo smiled lightly, and added, forgot to tell you, your kick didn't cause me any substantial damage. Is the legendary Gorosei, 5 elders so weak? Really disappointed me. Asshole. The old man with the knife shouted angrily, and the long knife in his hand suddenly slashed dozens of times, and a huge tornado swept out that was strong enough to destroy the world. The terrifying sword chi directly turned into a blade tornado, the terrifying sword chi spread out, the sea water was swept up, and the wind rose, turning into a death water tornado. Ho-a-ho-ho. The huge and terrifying tornado flew out wildly, and then, the top of the death water tornado suddenly became extremely sharp, like an awl, stabbing Susano of Lu Yun. Chapter 179 All Action. Kuzan. The old man with the knife dodged and yelled wildly. Kuzan understood it, and the cold air from his hands spurted out again. Boom. Icicle quickly spewed out of Kuzan's hand and shot towards the death waterspout. Just after touching the twisted waterspout, the entire icicle was torn to shreds, and countless fragments shattered into pieces. Then, the cold air moved forward. Forced to go, the death water tornado suddenly froze. The violent death water tornado just now turned into a real death ice tornado. The sharp and dazzling ice, like a drill, told the spinning towards Qin Luo. Boom. Zizizi. Touched it. The ice block, which was as hard as an iron drill, was resisted by Susano. Under the huge rotating force, the sharp ice block shattered and slammed into Susano. Superior. Wu tilde tilde tilde. A strong shattering sound resounded, and the ice block was torn apart like glass was shattered, and flew out. And the Susanengu that Chin Luo used was also rolled under the ice tornado like a diamond, and a thin white gap appeared. Then, the gap quickly became larger, and then the entire blue light blooming Susanengu appeared. There was a strong vibration, and fragments of the armor flew out one after another. Crack, crack. At this moment, a sound similar to glass shattering was transmitted from Susano, and then it shattered with a bang, and Susano turned into fly ash and disappeared completely. Broken, broken. Seeing the situation on the battlefield, countless Marines in the Marine headquarters raised their arms and shouted excitedly. Lu Yun is not invincible. Kong saw this scene, and he was relieved slowly, and then sternly shouted, "All Marines are ready. Let's fight back." "Hey, Lu Yun, your protective shield was smashed, what other means do you have?" Seeing this, the knife-wielding old man breathed a sigh of relief. Under his death waterspout and Kuzan's freezing ability, as soon as he was completely complete, Susano was defeated, which gave the old man with the sword hope. Yo, not bad ability, but, do you really think that's the end? Chin Luovidi narrowed his eyes, then his hands formed a seal, the just fragmented complete body, Susano, is again a frantic gathering when he came out. It directly enveloped Chin Luo. In the blink of an eye, Susano, who was exactly the same as just now, flashed out again. The blue skeleton, flesh and blood, nerves, pipes. Even the skin, and finally the iron-like armor exuding a cold glow. Om. Complete body, Susanengu was called out by Chin Luo again, the blue long sword in his hand chirped softly, Susanengu stepped on the sea and slashed out. Whoosh. After it was cut out, a huge ring of sword energy that penetrated the sky and the earth swarmed vertically, directly splitting the entire sea in half, mixed with a strong and terrifying momentum, and rushed towards it. Asshole. What? Condensed again. What power is this? Arms and shouted, also obediently shut their mouths when they saw this scene, shocked and overwhelmed. 3600 Roads Death Tornado. Golden Renkyaku Tempest Kick. Beige, colored-haired old man and the knife-wielding old man moved in unison, the sword light flickered, and the silhouette of their feet flew around. The two figures were illusory, and it was impossible to see which one was real, which one was fake, or even Admiral in Marine's headquarters couldn't see the figures of the two old men. I saw the golden light flickering in front, and the knife was slashed out one by one, and I couldn't see the specific appearance at all. Bastard! Kong clasped his iron fist and roared, "All Marines, assist Lord Gorose, 5 elders." Cannonball Lu Yun. Marine, who was scattered and panicked, suddenly raised his morale and moved quickly and swiftly. Quick, quick, clean up all the water. Blast the clouds. Boy over there, quickly turn the gun muzzle. Adjust the angle. Bastard, no more cannonballs. Send 10 people to collect cannonballs in the cabin. Hurry up. The orders on the warships are in full swing, like ants on a hot pot, moving quickly. Bastards. All the people above Vice Admiral in the Marine headquarters, support me Gorose, 5 elders. Kong saw that the two adults were completely suppressed and beaten by Lu Yun, and his heart was filled with anger. Support. Shaved. Shave. Shaved. Moon step, quote. Iron fist meteorite. Meteor volcano, quote. Tiankong cloud sword. Shockwave. Ice block, exploding pheasant mouth. Countless people from the Marine headquarters disappeared on the main ship in an instant, and the silhouettes went directly to the behemoth in front. Hee hee, little devils. Lord Lu Yun is fighting with two immortals. It's not good to take advantage of people's prestige. Suddenly, the huge body of the Nine Tails directly blocked the front of all the backbones of the Marine headquarters, and sneered with a slanted mouth. Bastard, get out of the way. Dark Hound. Akainu didn't talk nonsense at all. On his right hand, a large amount of scorching magma spurted out instantly, condensing into the appearance of a ferocious dog's head, and biting towards the nine-tailed demon fox. Huh! The nine-tailed demon fox snorted in disdain, and the 9 tails wrapped in rich chakra moved quickly behind him. Then, the 9 tails twisted wildly, and the wind rose. The tail, now turned into a weapon of magic, slammed directly into Akainu's lava fire fist. Boom! 9-tailed demon fox twitched its tail, and Akainu's powerful blow was directly blocked by the 9-tailed demon fox. After that, the entire lava was shattered and fell toward the deep sea. At the same time, a golden light flashed across the sky, and Borsellino held a gleaming sword in his hand. The sword stabbed out and instantly expanded. The sharp sword seemed to be able to pierce a mountain. Come! Tailed beast cannon. The corners of Juwei's mouth twitched, and the black particles carrying huge energy in front of him quickly condensed, and then turned into a transparent, strange sphere with blue glow, and the energies inside collided with each other, as if they were about to explode. Shenwei twitched, and immediately, the tailed beast cannon rushed towards Tiankong Yunjian, and the sharp sword light penetrated directly through the tailed beast cannon, cutting into 2 sections. Afterwards, the entire tailed beast cannon exploded directly, the flames soaring into the sky, and the originally chaotic battlefield was suddenly submerged by this violent energy again. Even some Marine Vice Admiral were directly swept away by this shock wave and almost fell into the deep sea. Chapter 180 Shocked Uchiha Itachi. More than a dozen Vice Admirals from the Marine headquarters were swept by the ability shock wave and flew out diagonally, unable to get close to the 9 tails at all. Except for the future Marine 3 Admiral, the Logia Devil Fruit ability, and the older Marine Admiral Marshall and Garp, the rest of the Vice Admiral were blocked. Bastard! Kong saw the 9-tailed demon fox coming up and messing around, his face turned ashen, and then he hurriedly turned around and issued an order to the Marine Vice Admiral who couldn't break through. Go to the warship and command the battle. Make sure the warship and Marine are safe. Quote. Yes. The embarrassed Marine Vice Admirals were all downcast, directly listening to Kong's orders, returning to the battleship to stabilize the situation, splitting some lingering Sea Kings around them, and orderly commanding Marine to fight. This is the sea, and the most feared thing for those who are capable is the sea water. If there are no warships, a large number of people will die, and the entire Marine headquarters, those who do not know Marine Rokushiki, will all be buried here. Bombing the 9 tails. Bombing the monster Luyun. Anagumo roared frantically with a gloomy expression, trying to vent all the bird energy he had received. Bastard! I'm coming. Bastille saw an artillery that could not be turned, and the figure flashed, like a sharp sword, kicked the front of the artillery. The jammed artillery smoothly turned the angle of 930, and the muzzle went straight to the 9 tails. Fire the gun! Vice Admiral of Marine's headquarters roared, and Chi-Chi issued an order. Countless flames shot into the sky, and tens of thousands of cannonballs were crushed towards Kuo and Luyun's Susano. Suddenly, the old man with the sword who was fighting against Luyun noticed the fluctuations behind him, and hurriedly turned around. A sword Chi 10 meters long and wide roared out, and directly cut into the black ink with a diameter of half a meter. On the shells. Boom! A huge flame rose into the air, and the smoke and dust splashed everywhere. Bastard! See clearly before firing. The old man with the knife roared, his expression extremely angry. Sorry. Marine, who fired guns on a battleship, was wiping cold sweat with a guilty conscience. To be honest, with such an intensive battle, it is difficult to avoid the people from the Marine headquarters. What's more, their battles are ever-changing, and their silhouettes are like ghosts and flickering, which makes the Marines unable to aim at all. Things like Gorosei, 5 elders happen. Bastard! Let the professional gunners come here. Bastille kicked the Marine who fired the gun just now and yelled at the crowd. Report. I am the professional gunner of this warship. You. Bastille's eyes widened, his face full of ferocity. Yeah. The gunner wiped his cold sweat, stood tremblingly in front of Bastille, and said with a guilty conscience. Aim and fire next time. Injuring Lord Gorosei, 5 elders, I will kill you. Yes. The gunner's expression became tense, and then he squatted down in a hurry and continued to adjust the angle, but every time the most critical moment came, he hesitated for a while, which directly led to the fact that he never fired a gun for 2 or 3 minutes. Iron Fist Meteorite. The other side, a cannonball with a diameter of more than 1 meter appeared in Garp's hand. The whole body was pitch black. Garp held it up with one hand. The weight of the cannonball was shocking enough. Nine Tails, take my trick. Garp grinned Isho, and then, blue veins burst out on his face. The iron ball in his hand flew out instantly, turned into an afterimage, and whizzed towards the Nine Tails in the center of the field. The oversized iron ball slammed into it at a rapid speed, and it grew sharply in the eyes of the Nine Tails. Bastard, are you bullying the old man alone? At the same time, a figure suddenly flickered around Jue, and a man wearing a red cloud and black robe also appeared. When the man appeared, his expression was indifferent, and a chilling aura came towards him. The only difference was this: the man also wore a mask similar to Chin Luo, so he couldn't see his true face. Fire Escape How Fireball Technique. Uchiha Itachi quickly formed a seal with his hands, and then spewed a long flame of tens of meters from his mouth. During the roar, the flame dragon directly collided with Garp's oversized iron ball, and then, a huge explosion that detonated the world was transmitted. Boom! The flames rolled and took off, and the violent explosion shockwave directly swept the center of the flame, and then swept the entire battlefield. Fire Escape. The technique of dragon fire. A flame spewed out. Uchiha Itachi felt that the power was not enough, and then a fire dragon spewed out, shot straight at the center of the explosion, penetrated directly, and then, like a long sword, attacked the warship. Asshole! Sengoku saw this long flame dragon. Trembling with fear, he used Shout a dodge directly in front of the warship, and the powerful impact of his huge palm flashed out one after another. Shockwave. Bang! The flame collided with the invisible shockwave, causing brilliant fireworks. The violent explosion sound was passed to the ear, and the dragon fire technique performed by Uchiha Itachi was also resisted. HMPH, Uchiha brat, without your help, this old man can still resist. The nine-tailed demon fox said with a displeased expression when he saw that it was Uchiha Itachi. Everyone works for the master. If you die, the master will lose a big arm. Uchiha Itachi's eyes were flat, unable to see joy or sorrow, and his eyes looked straight ahead. Bastard! Are you also Lu Yun's subordinate? When Kong saw another man wearing a red cloud and black robe, his face became very distorted. It was difficult to deal with just one nine-tailed, and now he came again. A tricky guy. Yes, Uchiha Itachi replied with a single word, only not words. Bastard, who is this Lu Yun who can make you strong men serve him? Kong roared angrily, the current form is very bad. First, they don't know the strength of the Lu Yun cadres who just appeared. Second, they don't know what abilities this kid has. These 2 points alone are enough to make them devastated. There's a lot of nonsense. Didn't you just bully people with more people? Now, it's time for this old man to resist. The nine-tailed demon fox opened its fangs and smiled evilly. Let's do it, so that I can support the master. Uchiha Itachi said, then looked behind, and found that the master was using the full-body Susanoo. What? Madara's Susanoo? After Uchiha Itachi saw clearly, his heart trembled again and again, unable to control himself. Master doesn't have a kaleidoscope, so he can still use it. HMPH, Uchiha kid, what's the matter? Not only can the master use Susanoo, but even your Amaterasu and Tsukiyomi can use it. Moreover, the power is stronger than yours.